Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a wonderful night tonight. We are going to be discussing some interesting videos on the interweb that makes for really good streaming content. But before we get into that, we have a legit sponsor of the channel from a really reputable company. And I'm totally not biased when I say that because the sponsor is me. Because finally, after several months of waiting, I actually got my placards in. These are 556 placards to start, 5 pieces, as you can tell. They will eventually be up on the website. I have dropped something, but I have several different variations. They fit different mags. They come with a shock cord. They are US made. They are berry compliant. They are IR compliant, and they will eventually be live on the website. I'll have a full breakdown video eventually, and then if you don't want a full placard, we also have regular things like tourniquet holders, 308, AK, and different variations as well. So you can get like your SCAR mags or your short AR mags, whatever it happens to be. Nylon products will be on the website. Again, American made, berry compliant, IR compliant, and inexpensive to boot. So those will be on the website eventually. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and bring on our guest tonight, which is going to be Logan. Which this is actually an intervention to get him to stop donating so much to the stream. So impromptu. And then of course we have Richard. So how is your guys' night going so far?
Going pretty well. Getting some mags cleaned up. But
I'm doing all
other than
right.
that, not much.
Fantastic. Shadow Force says, will you personally give them each a kiss? Yes. Yes, I will. Just for you, sir. All right.
I also got a kiss from Fudbusters and Ivan from Ivan Prince Guns. So there may be some discussions in the future.
Wait, did I hear that you got a kiss from them?
Yep, got kisses from them.
That's strange. But no, so if I didn't, I probably should explain how to use them a little bit. So this is my personal rig. It is slightly different than what you guys will get, but essentially it will work with any Velcro-based plate carrier or chest rig or anything like that. So this is like a LAPG low vis, but it'll work with like a T-Rex AC1 or a bunch of the other styles on the market. Mine is slightly different than what you guys will get, but yeah, that's them in the basics. All right, let's see here. What do you guys want to start with tonight? You guys wanted to start with the Mr. John Lovell of Warrior Poet Society. Now, the title of tonight's stream is Reviewer or Spokesperson, call it. And I think there is a big difference between the two. Usually when we think of somebody who's a reviewer, you want them to be impartial, you want them to be honest, and probably not paid directly by the company that they're reviewing. Do you think that's an accurate statement?
Typically, yeah.
I'd say that's fair.
Yeah. Now, this is just a little short that was actually sent around to me like maybe a month ago or so, but we didn't really fit into anything else. Now, this is Mr. John Lovell talking about his Daniel Defense H9, right? Which is the updated of the Hudson H9. They bought the design and did a few changes to it to make it kind of actually work, because the first one had some issues and some mismanagement with the marketing on it. But now Daniel Defense has it, and it's the hot new topic. As Poop says, yeah, it's the Wiener Penis Society. All right. And yeah. John Lovell has had some funny takes in the past. So I think that the couple famous ones are no suppressors on home defense guns because you want to scare the enemy with the noise.
I think it was like you want it to be loud so it'll get other people's attention or something like that.
Yes, but the thing with guns, especially rifles, is with a suppressor on, they are not quiet.
They're still loud.
They're very loud, and indoors without hearing protection, like people are gonna know, right?
Yeah.
And that's such a strange thing too, because if I am shooting, I don't care about the neighbors knowing. I care about the person I'm shooting being not doing whatever he's doing that has led him to be shot in the first place, right? So I think that that's just a really strange, silly argument. And if you can protect yourself a little bit, you know, maybe limit your own hearing damage. It's not about the other guy at all. It's about yourself. I think that's a little bit more beneficial. So, yeah. And then the other one was downloading magazines, which this is something that people have done for a while, which is like,
I do that myself.
yeah, like 28 rounds or 29 rounds, depending on
Mhm.
what you're doing. And usually the reason people do that is because it makes tactical reloads a little bit easier. And it does, right? Gives yourself a little bit
Mhm.
more in the magazine. So I've also done that from time to time, depending on what I'm doing. Again, some people have problems with that. There's also differences with lowers, like really inexpensive lowers. Sometimes we'll have some tolerance issues and we'll have a very difficult time seating a 30 round magazine against a bolt, right? For a tactical.
Mhm.
And some lowers have a little bit looser tolerance, and it's actually quite easy to do so. So you can kind of tailor that. There's arguments to that either way, and I don't have a problem with it. But like with most other magazines, like pistol mags or whatever it happens to be, I just load it up to the max and you're ready to go. All right. Oop,
I'm gonna show you something.
I do hate that it automatically does that if I touch it. Let's hold this down. Okay, so this is let's run through John's thoughts on the Daniel Defense H9.
I'm gonna show you something spicy. I have a Daniel Defense. This is the H9. I'm gonna shoot it in front of you. Come in closer. Look at this. There she is. It's a fiber optic front, rear, optic cut already. Look at this craziness. The trigger detent is up high instead of low. And that's the idea. Instead of pulling the gun down, you're pressing it straight back, higher.
Now, I'm not
1911.
sure. Well, right. I'm not sure if that's a real thing. It might be. I think it's just people's natural tendency to freak out and try to fight the recoil that causes them to press down. Not really to do with the trigger, like 99% not the trigger. It's just
Yeah.
people trying to push down on the gun itself. So, I mean, there might be some truth to that, in the really, really fine tuning of how you're pulling the trigger or whatnot. But I think mostly it's just people pushing the gun down.
I would
up
agree
with the
that.
bore axis. And they've engineered the
Oop.
bore axis so that you can get higher. So that's the kind of big reason why. Just shredding that target. Good to go.
What happened there?
So, yeah, we'll talk about that. So another thing that's kind of a myth is bore axis. It's not really a myth. It's a mechanical thing. It happens, right? It's just math. But bore axis also is one of those things that doesn't matter as much as people might think. Because again,
It's
people
so
are always
grossly
trying to...
overblown.
Yeah, because people are always talking about, well, it's too flippy or there's too much recoil or whatnot. But then you look at like Walthers and Canics that win like world championships or national championships, and you're like, well, they have like the highest bore axis around. So what gives? Like, does it matter? It might feel a little bit different, and you might not personally like it, but in terms of real shooting performance, it's kind of a nothing burger, right? So getting your hand up high on the gun, in general, a good thing. But does bore axis really matter? No, not at the
No.
highest level. No.
Lovell.
Yeah. But let's watch what happens here.
And a big
Yeah.
reason why. Just shredding that target.
Click.
So, well, click no bang, but it's just, it could be his hand placement on a fresh gun or whatnot, but it fails to lock back there during this little, what is essentially an ad piece, right? It's
Yeah.
basically an ad piece.
Hard to do
Good
an
to go.
actual review on a short.
I think
Right. That's another thing that I hate in general is trying to condense information into smaller and smaller packages. And also, we'll get into it in a second, but yeah.
good to go. I think it does have a felt difference in recoil for a gun this size. 4 different instructors for Warrior Poet Society shot this gun. All of them liked it. One of them said that this is really like blocky. Why not have some grooves in there? And that was just his preference. But overall, all of us were kind of like thumbs up. It's running like a champ. Pretty good gun so far.
So there was a 60-second little piece on it. Now, the problem that comes in with a little video like that, even though there's not much wrong with that specific video, I mean, John Lovell does have a signature series with Daniel Defense, right? They make some of the rifles for him and whatnot, and they do it with other people as well. So it just comes across like a bit of an ad piece. That's the vibe that you get for it. And that's, I believe, some of the comments were basically similar to that. Oh,
I'm gonna show you
damn it, I
something
forget that
spicy.
I forget you can't scroll down on shorts. It's so annoying. Damn it. But yeah, it comes across like a bit of an ad read.
And the comments were spot on with it too. They noticed it immediately.
Ooh, no. Look, the top comment, 3.1 thousand likes on it is, looks like a gun someone is getting paid to sponsor, lol. Yeah, that's the way that it comes across. It comes across like a little ad piece, right? Like a little tight 60-second paid for ad, which is also interesting. Now, the other little video that got shared around is his concealed carry piece, which is a CR920P, which again is a warrior poet model that he also has a gun made to his
Not
specifications by Shadow Systems, right?
No. He has like 6.
Right. Because I mean, Shadow Systems has like 9 different models, different sizes and configurations and whatnot. So
Yeah, he has like 5 or 6 different configurations from Shadow Systems.
yeah. Okay. But let's take a look at his little video here. It comes across the exact same vibe, right? It's that meme where it's the same picture.
Everyday carry. It's the CR920P War Poet. I just did a down dirty kind of YouTube-ish zero. Get one more click left. Right there. One to go on. Accuracy set test, C-zone steel. We're at 50 meters.
Yep.
That was me.
Hit.
Wow, that's good. That miss, that wasn't the gun. That's because I shanked it. It's called shot anticipation. But that, man, 50-meter C-zone steel, subcompact gun. I'll take that. Yeah, that's great.
Again, it's a nice little ad piece for his stuff, right? And somebody in the comments, Nick, said, I think it's ethical because he's openly endorsing these companies and has signature models. But you don't necessarily know that in the video just by watching it, right? If you're the average YouTube user, if you're just scrolling through and you see, oh, John Lovell, this guy, he has a lot of followers, a lot of likes. He's testing out this Daniel Defense H9, and he's like, wow, this looks really cool, guys. But he's affiliated with the company in the background, which, it just looks like it. Now, the title of the video is Spokesperson or Reviewer, right? If you're a spokesperson for the company and you're wearing, whatever shirt branding that you want that's affiliated with that company, not a big deal, right? Because everybody gets it. You're paid to say nice things about it. You're paid to shoot their stuff or whatnot. But it's when it comes across like a reviewer. Now, I think if you ask John Lovell, which is why this is a more interesting case, is he would say, oh, I'm not a reviewer. I'm just talking to my fans. I'm just, doing a little demo or whatnot. These aren't like reviews. And they're not reviews, right? They are basically little ad spots for companies that he's affiliated with. So that's kind of the title, reviewer or spokesperson. John Lovell, the gun shoots. Yes, it does.
I just
enthralling.
I thought it was kind of funny that he said that that's his everyday carry, and then he immediately showed that it wasn't zeroed.
Well, I think what he might be saying is that this is the gun, the type of gun that he carries.
It's the model, and it's a new one,
right? Because it's his, and because a lot of people, they don't carry with red dots, right? That's a thing that people just don't do a lot of times for their personal carry guns. But when you're demoing it, you want to demo with a red dot because that looks cool, right? So he literally might have just thrown one on for the video, and that's why the zero was slightly off. So. Gotcha. Shadow Force says, who zeros their carry piece anyways? Yes, very true. Very true.
BRB, I'll go unzero mine real quick.
Yeah. Just knock it around a little bit.
It's my everyday carry. It's the CR920P War Poet. I just did a down dirty kind of YouTube.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just threw the optic on for the video. Because I think he's holding his IWB holster in his armpit right there. So I'm pretty sure he did just throw the red dot on for the video because it looks cooler, right? And if you're going to be doing a quote unquote accuracy test at 50 yards, if you're not familiar, C-zone steels are pretty big.
Yes,
C-zone is not small at all. Now, if you watch some of my videos, like I'll take a subcompact out to 100 yards, and that's not particularly difficult if you're doing your job. It's not a problem, right? So just about somebody else could post it in the comments, like basically, hey, any gun should do this. 50 yards, you should be able to make consistent C-zone impacts.
Yeah.
It's never the gun's fault. If it's missing, it's because of you, right?
There had to be something
Oof,
catastrophically
ouch.
wrong with the gun. Oh gosh.
Right. That's so rude, Matt. That was not what we were talking about. How dare you, sir? Yes. And the range points out that 50-meter accuracy is mission critical on a carry piece, as you all know.
Of course.
Well, no, you should be able to shoot that far accurately with your carry piece, 100%. That's just a basic skill that you should have, right? Not saying that you're ever going to need that, but what did the Dickens guy, right? He had to do 8 shots at 40 yards. So maybe you should be able to shoot a tight little group at that distance.
I think it was further than that. I think it was closer to 50. I think it was like 47 yards or something, 48.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact, but the point being is he put on, I think it was 8 rounds on target, 8 out of 10 on target at an extended distance with his carry gun.
Yeah.
Right. So
And he
yes,
did it
that is a skill
10
you should
seconds.
absolutely have.
He did it in 10 seconds, I believe.
I thought it was 15. Either way, it's still pretty good.
Right. Especially under pressure, and there's a lot of other things there. But anyways, that's a basic skill that you should have. You should be able to make accurate hits out to 50 yards with your concealed carry gun.
Train farther and faster than
100%. 100%. Because you can shred at 5 yards all the time and feel very good about yourself. And then you can put a target at like 50 yards. And it's like, okay, well, now let's see you do it, right? And now all of your fundamentals actually come into play, right? Because like if you're like with a red dot, if you're at like 5 or 7 yards, like dots on the target, pull the trigger, baby. Who cares? Right? You don't even need to see the sights most of the time. At 5 and 7 yards, you'll hit the target.
Yeah, point in the vague direction of it, and you're good enough.
Well, you basically, right? You just see a flash of red and brown behind it. Just pull the trigger, bro. You're fine, right? And you do that 3, 4, 5 times, you're going to get a run with all A's, and then you post that run.
Gonna be Instagram GM.
That's right. There's some good shirts about I'm an Instagram GM, and it shows the hits.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. I should get that shirt. That's a good one.
I think I saw Ben Steger share that.
Yeah. I think it was on his story. That's where I saw it too. All right, so that's kind of a spokesperson role, right? And I'm not saying that John is claiming to be a reviewer and he's lying, right? But it's just they're basically little ad pieces, right? And if that's what you're doing, that's mostly fine. I don't really have a problem with that. You're getting paid, you're making money, but if you're, trying to come across as an honest reviewer, then it's a little different. Yeah. And I haven't paid attention to John Lovell for a long time. I actually unsubscribed to his channel after he had a hot take about Mr. George Floyd right after that went down. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I watched that video that he made on it, and I was like, okay, I don't need to follow this guy anymore.
I have not been subscribed to his content for quite some time. I had just seen these couple of videos pop up in my feed, and somebody was sharing them on the Discord as well. And I thought they were kind of interesting. And then I started looking into other things that apparently John's associated with after I received an ad. That was...
yeah. We'll talk about that in just a second. But let's see. I mean, he has a big channel, 1.5. I didn't realize he was that big. 1.53 million subs. That puts him in like the top 10 of GunTubers for sure.
And he has his own Warrior Poet Society network as well.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Let me
go way back. I remember when I first got into YouTube and guns, which was like 8 years ago. I think it was when the first John Wick came out, like literally. Nice. One of his CQB. Oh, there it is. No silencers for home defense. 1.2 million views. Okay. Whatever, bro. But one of his CQB videos popped up. It might be his most popular video of all time. Let me just see if I can pull that up. No, anti-gunner. That's good. Where is it?
That one was actually a good video. If you guys haven't seen that one, he takes an anti-gun Aussie to the range for the first time, and she has a blast. I do like that video. That was one that I did appreciate of his.
Yeah, he's done a couple of them actually.
Yeah, and like the video you just passed, the one was his appendix carry safe. That was one of the ones where that really actually helped push me to actually switch to carrying appendix.
Oh, I didn't know he had Bronca on.
Yeah, I mean, he's talked to people before. I know people have referenced him for several things. I can't find the video, but yeah, he had a CQB video that had like 1 million views back in the day. It was really big, and it was like single man CQB. And as somebody who knows nothing, you look at that and you're like, oh, that looks really cool. So I click on that and watch that, and that's when I started following him.
He put all of those videos over onto the Warrior Post Society network.
I see. Yeah, because he has his own like private thing, and he has there's like a platinum membership subscription that you can get and whatnot. So I mean, he's done pretty well for himself. I remember his ads back in the day were funny because he would like do like integrated like skits for his videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the next topic, Tusks for $4.99 says, I wear Warrior Poet Society swag so people know I'm a badass and never ever have thought about servicing another dude. I'm glad you made that extremely clear so that we could know that you've never had intrusive thoughts about servicing another dude. For sure, 100%. I love this gentleman's name, Mr. Bulge Deep in Vagina says for $4.99, my turds are the same color as George Floyd. All right. Photos or it didn't happen, sir. Nomatron says, can we please talk about 704 Tactical as a reviewer? That's actually a really good one. I've talked to the gentleman several times. Did he have a segment of him repeatedly kneeling to BLM? He had a really, if you go back and look at his George Floyd take, it was really bad. Like one day after it happened, he was like straight up calling it murder and like pretending to be outraged. And like, I was like, okay, all right, bud.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, well, that was when I unsubscribed. I was like, all right, I don't need to follow this anymore. So
yeah, something like 13 nanograms per deciliter of fentanyl. I think that's what the autopsy reported.
The autopsy that wasn't allowed to go into the court proceedings that they're now appealing it with. There's some really good videos and documentaries on like how that proceeding was completely screwed over, because there was only one outcome possible in that trial.
Yeah.
Fentanyl murdered George. Yeah, St. George died.
The average overdose is like between 3 and 4 nanograms per microliter, and he had something like 13. So, 3 to 4 times the average overdose death.
I mean, that's a hell of a tolerance that man built up through years of careful practice.
Yeah, apparently so.
All right. Tots for $1.99 says, I also have a moron labia sticker on my truck. All right. Good to know.
Where can I get one of those?
Oh, Icon says he's not going to talk about 704. They're buddies. I said I've talked to him a couple times. All right. He only craps on folks with a better life than him. Believe me, 704 brings in the money, sir. So, I mean, if that was what stopped me from talking about him, you know what? He's talked to me before about getting called shills and whatnot. And I'm like, well, hey, this is why, right? Your videos look like ad pieces. And he would come on the channel to defend himself, too. So maybe we should have Mr. 704 on at some point. And you guys can ask him some questions about his content. I think that
Open invitation. Open invitation.
No, he would
send
come
an
on.
email.
He's talked to me before. Well, he's talked to me directly before. So
okay.
I would just ask him and he would come on. All right. Why don't you tell me about this ad that you received on a video of mine recently, Richard? That was quite entertaining.
So I was hopping on just to check some numbers and some comments, and a video that I clicked on had a pre-roll ad, and the ad was for a company. Well, I think you have it pulled up there.
Let me make sure I have the actual ad. Okay, I have the ad here. Let me pull this one up first.
The company is called Make Ready TV. And this is a slightly longer version of the ad that played. But a few very noteworthy names popped up during the ad that played on my end. This isn't the actual ad. This is just a very close representation of what it was, right? They basically took a supercut from this and then added in some more faces and names. And it worked. It got me to go check out and see what the company's all about. And well, let's see what they have to say.
Why don't let's take a look at this ad real fast.
What does it mean to make ready? It's your notice to get ready, to prepare yourself, to be proactive, to get the knowledge you need to prepare for anything.
It's about repetition. It's about muscle memory. It's about doing the right thing when you're under stress.
Boom, get it up there quick out of the holster so you don't have to do this fast.
Fight my way back up into that double kneeling position. Single kneeling position. Upright.
Just like before, additional sight picture. Make sure our target has been dispatched properly.
I mean, but we get it, right? It's a lot of kind of like the older generation of trainers and whatnot. Super tactical focused. You got the music, you got the deep voiceover. Actually, here, let me change it real fast so I have the deep voiceover. The deep voiceover. Or I can make it sound really funky, but that probably let's get it back to normal. There we go. All right.
Like that.
Yeah, Pat Mac. So anyways, Make Ready TV, which is an interesting company. This is, I think, their homepage. They're a completely free source for premium content from the top instructors and industry professionals from firearms and outdoor community. So they have a lot. If you scroll down to their instructors, it's a lot. Like a lot of people.
So
Pat
let's
Mac.
read through.
Oh, dude, the whole thing.
No, not
Pat
all of them.
Mac,
They got Bob Vogel.
Yep. Jamie Caldwell.
John Lovell.
John Lovell is on here as well. Chris Tonto.
Jeff
Paronto.
Cooper? Dang.
Larry Vickers is the very last one. And I don't know if he's on here yet, but Mr. Matt Little is also on here, which is a very interesting addition.
Yeah, he's
Now,
up there.
these guys are... Oh, is he? Well, I don't... We'll find... We'll talk about him in just a second. But these guys are put on by Panteo Productions, where there's like some sort of like relationship between the two, right? Now, if you read this out, it's the world's most experienced instructors, available on DVD, Ultra HD, streaming services, whatnot. So these guys go back a long ways. This is like when magazines transitioned to DVDs, transitioned to streaming services. So this
go
is
back
like
to Magpul Dynamics.
Yeah, no. So this is a very similar vibe to all of that. And because it's like the magazine converted to digital, it's almost all ads, right? Like every single video is basically an ad or has, big ad spots front and center and the, lead-ins and ends and whatnot. And so it has a lot of content on there, and we'll talk about that, I think, just a second. But they used to be sponsored by or presented by FN. They lost their FN deal, and now it is all Taurus. So like half the videos are Taurus, which I think is very funny. So if you look, the most recent one, another thing about the channel, they have an actual YouTube channel that has almost 90,000 subs. And they average, like, this is a big one, actually. This is a story, got 16K views, but most of their videos are in 500 or less. Like a couple of them break 1,000. That one broke 10,000, but these are mostly pretty darn bad for what is well-produced content. For instance, if we watch this one by Pat Mac, like it's really well done.
That I feel like I was born to do. I got a gun and I'm calling 911. Machine. So what I'm hoping to do,
like their tagline is that it's high produced content, like high production.
Well,
value.
it is high production value content, and so there's some money behind this, right? If you're paying camera crews and editors, it's not cheap. It's not cheap to do all this, but you're doing a lot for almost nothing in terms of views. Now, they have a direct website, which we'll talk about in just a second, but I thought that this little video here no pun intended, by Matt Little on the Taurus 22 Tuck would be very interesting. Now, if you're not familiar with Matt Little, he was recently caught cheating in USPSA for his Grandmaster status. So he had to take that out of his Instagram bio and degrade it down to just Master. Right. And there was some jokes about him going all the way down to A class. But yeah, so he is not a Grandmaster. He's a Master in USPSA Limited, I want to say.
I believe is
Could be
limited
wrong with that.
optics, and he was using the Staccato XC, which is a compensated gun, which
is
would
an
put him in open
gun.
division.
Yes. He was like, I'm a limited Grandmaster. You know, I'm only using an open gun for it. But oh well. Anyway, so when there was video proof of him lying about that, now he did have other sponsorships. But then while all of this was playing out, he announced his partnership with Taurus, of all companies, which is funny how they all intersect here on Make Ready TV. So let's listen to Matt Little talk on the Taurus 22 Tuck. And again, like these videos, they're basically ads. And now listen, they paid these guys to come out here, film this video, and it's only 1 minute and 43 seconds long, and they shoot like, we'll count the rounds as we go of 22 that they put through this gun.
I bet
Hello,
it's going to
everyone.
be like
I'm Matt Little, and I'm here to talk about
under
the
30.
22 Tuck from Taurus Arms. This is a 22 long rifle, tilt-up barrel design. It's a design that's been around for a long time. A lot of classic 22 and 32 caliber pistols use it.
Wow.
It makes the pistol easier to load and unload because of the small size of the firearm. Right. Obviously.
All right. So that was 3 rounds, right? So we're at 3 rounds fired so far.
And I thought I talked
if you have
slow.
to defend yourself with a firearm, you would be better suited to have the largest firearm you can carry and the most powerful caliber you can carry. However, having said that, the first rule of a gunfight is to have a gun. And there are plenty of circumstances.
We're at 11 rounds.
This is where the smaller, more easily concealed gun is practical, and the larger gun that we would prefer to have is not. So this is an ideal solution for that sort of situation.
See, those are very strong words. When somebody uses... So like when I talk about stuff, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good and might be good for that, might be good for that. If you say like ideal or the best, like there's got to be some pretty serious weight behind that, right? And just hear me out.
Some weight.
Hear me out, right? Maybe a 22 Tuck from Taurus is not the ideal concealed carry piece, even if you need something that's very small. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now, how many rounds were we at? 11?
11.
11, okay.
I
We're
think that's
almost
all
done
it
with the video.
carries. I think it's 10 in the magazine and one.
They loaded up 1 mag and they were like, here we go. And the reason why they have a tilting barrel is so that you can easily clear malfunctions. That's called foreshadowing. All right.
Let's go ahead and load this thing up and let's see how it shoots.
Now, okay, just an editing thing, right? If you are so pressed on time that you only have 1 minute and 45 seconds, why are we wasting 10 of it with him like setting the gun down, putting his headphones on? There's nothing better you could have used with your time. Like, listen, if you're limited to like a 60-second short, like I get it. You're going to jam pack that as much as you can. If you're wasting time, I mean, are they paying these guys by the second of uploaded footage? Because there's a camera crew there, right? This, like, somebody got paid to do this, and somehow they only came out with a minute. Well, somehow they only came out with 1 minute and 45 seconds worth of footage. Like,
how do you do that?
And again, keep in mind that Matt Little is a Taurus sponsored shooter on a Taurus sponsored channel, right? Well, Nate says he's filling time. What time? There's only
no time there.
There's only 105 seconds. Like, what time are we filling? Like, are you? It's like, you remember in the old days of YouTube, you try and get to 10 minutes. Now you have to get to 8 minutes.
10 minutes.
Right? What are you trying to get to? 1 minute 45, and you just can't figure out how. Like, you could shoot it a little bit more, I guess. Wouldn't that be interesting?
How do we squeeze those 2 more seconds?
Oh my gosh! All right, here we go.
It's just terrible.
Riveting content.
Painful.
There's a joke to be made there.
Mm. All right, 19 rounds, right? 19 rounds. 18 rounds? Something like that.
Either way.
Also, like, he's not that far away. That's a pretty bad group. Probably not down to the, well, it might be ammo, could be accuracy. Also, the sights on that thing, I guarantee you, are terrible.
Just little nubbins.
Yeah.
They're basically a suggestion.
Roughly aimed down the slide. Oh,
all right, well, let's listen to let's listen to the last 20 seconds of his very deep, insightful commentary on how it shot after 18 rounds.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 22 Tuck from Taurus. An ideal little affordable pocket pistol.
Ideal is a very strong word, sir. Ideal is very strong.
You need to have a firearm on you for protection, but it needs to be easily concealable and comfortable to wear.
No.
And again, yeah, Taurus lead-in, Taurus outro, Taurus sponsored fake Grandmaster shooter. Perfect. It is the perfect ad spot with a grand total of 18 rounds of 22, right? Meaning that the total value of ammunition in the video was around $1. A singular dollar's worth of ammunition was shot in that video.
No expense was spared.
Well, it's like we had no. It's like the gun was $199. The camera crew was $1,000. Our budget's $1,200. What do? They look at they're scrambling through their pockets. They find some loose change, and it's like go to the store and buy one box of 22 long rifle. That's all we can afford. And so
I got 2 rounds of 22 in my pocket. Here, you can have those.
They're searching in their trucks. Yeah,
they probably just pulled the empty box out of the range, like the trash can at the range. They just pulled the empty box and set it there, and they swept the range floor and pulled up 18 loose rounds off the floor. I mean, that's essentially what what that would have done.
Jay Ford, this is an interesting idea. He says the mere fact that you were mentioning Taurus right now means that you must be shilling for them. How much did they pay you? Kissy face. Well, that would actually be interesting. They should buy the positive side and the negative side, right? So pay people to talk positively about them and then pay everybody else to respond to them so that it's just a non-stop Taurus cycle 24/7 on YouTube, right?
Playing both sides, that way I always come out on top.
That's right.
They paid us enough to buy 18 rounds of 22.
Yeah, well, actually, no, 20 rounds. They really went wild on our budget for this.
Whoa, 20 rounds. Dang.
All right. Bring back the Taurus curve, please. At least they're kind of neat and gimmicky and not another Beretta knockoff. No, knocking off other companies is way easier and cheaper to do.
Oh,
all right.
Before we switch topics here, go back to their channel. The one video that you said had decent views, 16,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black Hawk Down.
Well,
the story of Black Hawk Down. I mean, it's a
3-hour long story. It's gonna do well, right? That's the sort of thing that really feeds into the algorithm. You have a long document, like especially if it's well done. Like if we just click on this real fast.
Yeah, it appears to be.
I'm sure it's well done. Like it looks like it has money behind it. You know, the editing seems fine. They're putting in overlay videos, and I'm sure they go through the whole story, you know, with pictures and photos and whatnot. If you can do that, that's what people want. Long form, high quality content.
Is that Tim Kennedy?
If you ask him, he might say yes. But yeah, they have like it, and some of the other videos on the channel, like look at again, 88,000 subs, 197 views 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And this is, guys, this is a Taurus windbreaker for concealed carry. So this is the levels of shillery that we get to.
How to series.
Taurus
with a
ad. How to
windbreaker.
conceal us with a Taurus windbreaker.
You put the gun in the holster, you put the jacket on.
Oh, I love
Whoa! It's concealed.
Firearm a little bit easier. I wish somebody had given this to me when I first started carrying a gun every
Wait, sorry.
day.
Let me go back. Does it say who he is? Please introduce yourself.
Just sponsored
I'll
by
give you a
Taurus.
great piece of advice for concealing your
Just say who he
firearm a
is.
little bit easier. I wish somebody had given this
Nope.
to me when I first started carrying a gun every day. Because when you get your first gun and you're carrying,
See, look, they got multiple cameras set up. They got the studio lighting. Like, there's like thought and energy and time and money that goes into this.
Yeah, there's some money spent on this. There's
Right.
not a lot of ROI.
For 200 views. Okay, listen. All right. Taurus. All right. Fire everyone, every single person, all of them. Okay. Whatever you're paying them, pay me half, and I guarantee you double the views, right? Fire every single one of them, though. Okay. And I'll do it way better, way better. But I guarantee you at least double the views for half the money. All right.
Don't listen to him because he's just going to give me half of it and then delegate the duties to me and say, "Here, get 400
That would
views."
actually, you know what would be fun? I would send you a camera and be like, "All right, go to town," and you would do a better job. You would pull in more views.
But say, does
I-
the Clips
I know I
channel
would.
get better views than this?
The
Here's
Clips
the
channel does
thing.
get better views than this.
Here's the thing.
The video I
probably would.
uploaded this morning did like 3,500 views on a channel with less than 1,000 subs, or just over 1,000 subs. So yeah,
I actually
Yeah.
have a Taurus in my pocket right now.
Okay, so sorry, going back for 1 second, you guys sent me the link for the actual George Floyd clip from Warrior Poet Society, but he has his transcript turned off, which means I would have to scrub the entire video, and I'm not doing that. So we might
I think
the
where he talked about was like the first little bit of the video.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, it was a bad take from a long time ago.
Yeah.
We don't
All
need
right.
to rehash that.
Let
Not
me
when
see
he's
here,
still
but
having bad
am I
takes
still showing that
currently.
one? Now here's one. Here's this is
Yeah.
the inside story, the OG gathering on the Make Ready TV YouTube page, right? And they dragged out the corpses of every boomer OG on the internet into one room, which these people are intelligent, they're well spoken, they're knowledgeable in some of them have some silly takes at times about red dots and lights and different things like that in the modern era, but they have their insights and they definitely had their time. But yeah, so I mean, this podcast, which again is a long form, high quality podcast, 600 views, right?
Wow.
Big names.
And now look at the sponsor package in the back, though. So Taurus, of course, the title sponsor. Taurus presents Inside Story, the OG Gathering, Episode 4, Part 4. The Gathering, the Gatheringer, the Gathering again. Are those the U.S. Liberty survivors? Maybe. Actually, I'm pretty sure Masad Ayub was a pilot during that incident. But anyways, moving on. Remington, Leopold, HKS, Ameriglow, Federal, Tango Down, Riton on the side there. A bunch of really big sponsors for something that just gets nothing, right? Does dirt views. They do have some cool people on there. You have Jamie Caldwell going through like night vision stuff. You have Pat Mack with some really old videos, which I mean, a lot of these guys were really influential back in the day, and they did a lot of good things to push forward the firearms community, even if like not everything is like crazy up to date, right? I see really there.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Travis
Yes,
Haley's
they do have Travis Haley. So let me see if I can find him real fast. Cody from Red Right Hand is derailing my plans. Let's see. Make Ready Episode 1. Matt, no, Travis. They have bloopers. They have the old the DVD bloopers. That's funny from 13 years ago.
The bloopers was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm sure the bloopers are great.
I think
Those are
he was in it.
He's in the first one I just saw. Those are literally old rips from DVDs, basically. Yeah, I don't see. I just typed in Travis on their thing and I couldn't find it. Oh well. C'est la vie.
Super chat from Jay Ford.
I'll get him. Don't worry.
That's diabolical.
More effective because I need.
All right. Tusk for 199 says Hop could have made Tree Fitty back in the day. Yes, for sure. Jay Ford says, plot twist. Those were blanks, I think, in reference to the shooting there. Dunk the Muffins for $5. Thank you very much, sir. Says, playing both sides is exactly how Palpatine became the Emperor. Coincidence? Taurus may be a Sith Lord. A Sith Lord? And then Jay Ford says, Ayub's got great situational awareness with the eyes.
It was so much better in chat because the second eye was distant
They're
and
separated.
they were
way down.
separated and offset by like a mile.
Yeah. He's got a natural built-in offset with his eyes. That is terrible.
He can aim at his primary optic and Canton red dot at the same time.
Oh, okay. I got this. I got it. Cody just sent me the link so I can actually just post it over here. Are you going to update with me? Here we go. Saley can't catch her breath. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
All right. I don't think I've seen this before. This is good.
Let's talk about the speed reload now. Now.
Oh, classic.
All right. If I just had a black screen playing and you heard that. Oh, you went there. All right. I just had a black screen playing and you just like, what the heck is going on over there? Sounds like Travis is having a little too good
I
of a
thought
time.
I opened YouTube.
That is the wrong tab, sir. That is the wrong tab. This is actually what I fall asleep to.
Let's talk about the technique. And then we're back into the fight.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sending that. That was very good. That was very good. Gun prone ASMR. Yes, that was great. All right. A little distraction.
Oh, goodness.
There. Now they actually have a real website, right, where you can go and watch all of the stuff. Like Profiles of Courage with Matthew Little. Tusk says for $1.99, Haley was abusing his workspace. I remember that. Yeah, you got to stay in your workspace, right? You bring the gun into your workspace so you can do all your administrative tasks, then you can get back into the fight, right? Or whatever it was. So Dugan asks, have you ever seen Easy Day Uncut by Chet Ludiston? No, I don't think so. I'll have to write that down so I don't forget it. But yeah, they have a real website where they actually have like all the content. Now, everything is broken down into these little chapters. So you have like a full Pat McNamara course, which is like cool to have all these training places in one area, you know, even if they're from a while ago. But each one is broken down into these little like chapters. So that I scrolled through like 7 chapters to get to the actual like shooting instructional portion versus like, all right, we're going to zero. How are we going to zero, guys? It's like, how do we get from position 1 to position 2? It's like the 4 different shooting positions or whatever. Right. But they do have it all broken down here in segments, much like you would find in like a DVD. Right. But again, very high quality stuff. And they are definitely putting some money into it. If we go back to their homepage for a second. So yeah, this is the featured stuff. Maybe the website does really well, and that's where the money comes from, even though it's free. Now, let me click on one of these real fast. Because last time I did this, it played an ad right. Well, look at everybody that they're sponsored by. Yeah, Silencer Central.
Those are some big names.
Right on. Yeah. All right. So if I watch now.
Umarex?
It might not do it because I'm using the Brave browser, but I did it on a different browser and I got a Taurus ad before the video. So Taurus is running direct ads on their website, right? So I imagine that's where their money comes from, is from basically Taurus and some sort of kickback from their other sponsorships.
Well, right below this was a featured tab, and it showed Taurus.
Oh, yes. If you go to their homepage, it has the manufacturer spotlight. Taurus, rely on Taurus. And then, of course, I think it probably works in well that they brought on Matt Little because everything is sponsored by Taurus. So having one of their sponsored shooters on here, probably not bad. And then you can see that manufacturers probably pay to be in this top role. So you have Umarex, Federal, Walther, whatnot. So they make some money, but they do not get much output. Funnily enough, very similar to a magazine. Companies will pay top dollar to be part of a magazine, but they get almost no viewership. They sell almost zero copies, but they're still spending thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on, magazine ads, which is like, it was dead 15 years ago, let alone in 2025.
I don't know anybody who actually buys the magazines aside from NRA members who have their subscriptions renewed with every, they get Shooters Illustrated with their NRA renewal membership, or some of them are life members and they're just already signed up to receive Shooters Illustrated and like 2 other ones for the rest of their life.
Correct. Yeah, and it happens that people bundle it together, like with streaming services, like if you're into like entertainment type stuff, a certain streaming service will be like, hey, we had like 700,000 new subscribers this month, right? It's like, oh, that sounds like a big number. But it's like, well, we actually partnered with a secondary streaming service and then we bundled their numbers into ours to make it look way better. So it's like, oh, those aren't real viewers of your channel, right? Or in this case, real readers of your magazine.
Yeah,
all right.
It's all boomers, all fuds. Basically, the people who were sitting at that table.
Shekel Warlock for $2 says, Masad Ayub, the ghost of the Sinai. That's good. That's very good. Tusk the Third again says, Haley was abusing his workspace. He definitely sounded out of breath there. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys have dirty minds. Unbelievable. All right, let's see here.
Of such things.
So another kind of back to topic, I suppose, is and also funny square circle here, or however you want to say that. Sheepdog Response, which is Tim Kennedy's brand, put out a 25-minute long video comparing the Canik TTI Combat versus the Shadow Systems XR920p. Now, in terms of brands that get shilled, I think Shadow Systems is pretty far up there. And Taurus as well, because without people being paid to shoot Tauruses, they probably wouldn't get shot that much outside of criminal activities, let's say. But yeah, so guys, this is a 25-minute long video, so this might take us some time. But this gentleman who is reviewing, no knocks against him, but perhaps some of his insights are less insightful than I would like. So maybe we should take a look at this.
Insights is insulting.
It's they're insights in terms of like a technicality, right? The things that may or may not be said in this video are sometimes real. All right, so let's see. Let's see here.
Hey, what's up, Sheepdog Response? Yako Kalili. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between the Canik.
Okay, so keep in mind. Okay, this is important. I didn't realize this.
What's up, Sheepdog Response? Yako Kalili.
This gentleman is the director of training. Okay. The head of training is going to give us insights on these 2 handguns.
Today we're going to be talking about the differences between the Canik TTI Combat and the Shadow Systems XR920p. Let's get into it.
Sorry, sir. I just don't like the music.
Yeah, we'll get copyright struck for it too. Just imagine epic guitar music.
Epic music. Fantastic display of shooting from the director of training at Sheepdog Response, of course. And those are basically, I think those are C-zone steels at about 10 yards. That. Yeah, at about 10 yards. Now you should be able to shoot pretty darn quick at 10 yards. Pretty darn quick. So let's listen to his insights on these handguns, shall we?
Welcome back to Sheepdog Response YouTube channel. Hey, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Today we're going to be talking about the Canik TTI Combat and the Shadow Systems XR920p. Now, we saw both of these pistols. They're brand new this year. They came out during SHOT Show.
Hey, it's the guy. What's that guy's name? Taryn Butler?
Now, we saw both of these.
Yeah, look at him. He is on the hunt for barely legal females that may or may not work for him. Tusk the Third says, "Bad Santa, indeed."
These pistols, they're brand new this year. They came out during SHOT Show. Canon got together with Terran Tactical, and they did a collab on how best to come up with a pistol. You'll see that the Canon TTI Combat is more towards competition shooting. You can see that the length with the...
See, but that's not true, though, because it's supposed to be a good shooter, right? With the ergonomic upgrades from TTI, the good trigger and whatnot. It's an open gun. It has a compensator on it. It's not really for competition. If you're in open, you're buying like a dedicated open gun. Exactly. It's going to be full on like 3-port compensator on the end. You probably shooting 9mm major so that you can have a little bit more forgiving on your C-zone hits or whatnot. You're not shooting a $800 Canik TTI. You're shooting a 45 on. Yeah. You're not shooting a Canik TTI. This is not a competition handgun. This is something that is fun to shoot, that people like me can go and buy and have a good time with, right? But if you're a competition shooter, you are not using this in open. You're just not.
No.
Length of the slide, the compensator on the front. This gun is designed to shoot evenly and fast, and it's very light, so it's going to be easy for me to transition from target to target, and I'm going to be able to hold it up longer as opposed to something heavier.
Logan, in your shooting, have you ever been like, damn, this 2011, I just can't hold it up anymore?
No, not really.
Really? Okay. Now, what about transition speed? Because, I mean, it is true that a heavier gun will take more effort to transition. Some people don't love heavy guns. They feel like they're a little quicker with, mostly this is in play with rifles, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between running around with a 15-pound AR-10 versus an 8-pound, tricked out AR-15, right? There just is a difference. But I don't know if holding the gun up has ever been an issue.
Yeah, especially when I'm talking about it's not, they're not that heavy.
No, it's the difference between like a 24-ounce gun, which is like 35 ounces loaded, and then like a 50-ounce loaded like 2011 or something.
Yeah, it's like there is more weight, but it's, my opinion, not enough to truly make a difference. If you are,
first they transitioned guns, first they transitioned to the kids. Now the guns too. It's a sick world we live in, gentlemen. A sick, sick world. I think Richard died, so I'm actually just going to kick him out real fast. He'll be able to come back. Okay.
We get to the shadow systems. Again, this is one of those pistols that's everything it's been done with it, with the compensator, the fluted barrels, the milled slides. All of this is factory grade, which means that whenever you buy this pistol,
factory grade.
Factory grade. Yes.
Taurus is also a factory grade pistol. Now, what if you mean, it's a meaningless sentence, right? And now listen, okay, this is why in general there are some people who can talk off the top of their head for 25 minutes and do a great job. But if you don't stick to a script, or you don't have really good talking points in your head, a lot of the times you just end up like filling time, like babbling words together. So factory grade doesn't mean anything. Now, if you say it comes like this from the factory, these are all factory options, like that's useful information. But factory grade, that doesn't mean anything.
It's a nonsense term. Or a gun slop term, as
real talk. Do you think they paid Fiverr to write the script? No. So if you watch the editing, of how he talks, there's a cut every like 2 or 3 seconds. So I legit think that he gets a sentence out, cut, then they add another sentence on top. Where do those sentences actually coalesce into a paragraph? Maybe not, right? Which is some of the fun stuff on here.
The fluted.
Oh yeah. The BDS VSS is factory grade. Yes, just really bad factory. Yeah. All right. Oh, Fokker says he speaks like he shoots. Yeah, and again, keep in mind that this is the director of training for Sheepdog Response. So,
such an endorsement.
I think he can handle some of the criticism. That's all I'm saying. Right.
Barrels, the milled slides, all of this is factory grade, which means that whenever you buy this pistol, it's going to come with all of the upgrades. It's not one of those things that Shadow Systems created a pistol and then you have to take it in later to get everything done to it. It's designed for duty. They started marketing this to duty officers. Obviously, I could carry.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Now, Shadow Systems does try to have, like, LE sales and whatnot. I'm not sure about this one specifically with the gold titanium nitride fluted barrels and whatnot and all the gizmos on it. But yes, he is correct that this is a factory option from Shadow Systems, which also could have been described in a singular sentence if you just say, hey, this is XY model from Shadow Systems. That would also imply that this is a gun, but this is a model from Shadow Systems, right? So we could have cut out so far 90 seconds of the video. But we have established that this is a gun from Shadow Systems that they sell.
Carry this concealed. I would just have to change something like the flashlight or even like the flared magazine well. But just like Glocks, the Shadow Systems is very customizable. So these are things that I can change about. I can change about the weapon. And so let's get into shooting it, and then we'll talk about the commonalities and the main differences. We'll talk about cost. We'll talk about weight. We'll talk about all those things. Let's get into it. All right, the first one we're going to talk about is the Shadow Systems XR920P. Now, right off the bat, I could tell that this is kind of designed to I'm not going to say it's keeping my hands dry, but it feels like that whenever I pick it up because all of the stipple here on the handguard and on the frame.
See, the editing is clean, right? The transition was good. The B-roll,
yeah, the editing was good.
All that is great. Fantastic job to the photographer there, right? Good job. It has a stippled frame.
Whoa!
I mean,
revolutionary.
There's like this menagerie of words coming out of this gentleman's mouth that could just be dropped into a singular sentence. Like, it has a really nice grippy frame. Is it moisture wicking? No, it's John wicking. Or wait, no, that's the Canic. That's the Canic. Sorry. Oof. House of Osborne says DEI also hit the gun world. I see. That is rude, sir. And we don't appreciate that kind of talk here, gentlemen. All right. Every girl's crazy for a Glock mess man. That's good. That's good. All right.
Right here, or not the handguard, but the pistol grip, and on the frame right here, I can feel that whenever I pick it up in my hand, it's not going to slide. It's made to stay inside of my grip. This weapon's fairly light.
All right. I should have pulled this up earlier, but let me see if I can.
It's made to stay inside his grip.
Right. There's another video by a Asian gentleman, and he just goes over like grip. I forget his name. I should have had it pulled up ahead of time, but he just takes water and he douses it all over his hands, and he grabs a plastic gun and he just shoots it. And he's a grandmaster or master level shooter, and he's just fantastic. And he's like, guys, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's just grip the gun. You'll be fine.
Grip the gun tight.
Yeah.
Grip zone.
Yeah, exactly. The grip zone.
22
Where else
ounces,
would I grip the gun?
About half the weight.
Sorry, what was that?
How else would I know where to grip the gun if it didn't say grip zone on it?
If they didn't label it, yeah, I would start holding all over it. Is this a foregrip on the end? What is this?
Hold
I
on,
grabbed
wait
the
a
barrel,
second.
right?
Does that mean the Kurt Cobain Shotgun Edition has a lip zone? Sorry, too soon?
Oh, that was good. Oh, that's good. That's good. You should put that up as a short. That was very good. All right.
Noted.
Oh my god.
Ooh, the lip zone. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Inside of my grip. This weapon's fairly light. It's 22 ounces, which is about half the weight of the Canic TTI Combat.
Now that was incorrect, which they did fix in the comments, right? Because the Canic is a standard polymer framed striker fired handgun, right? So it weighs about 29 ounces. He was referring to or thinking about the Canic Rival S, which is the steel framed version, which is a steel framed gun, which is quite a bit heavier, about 42 ounces. So
it's 7 1/4 inches tall, so it's still a fairly decent sized weapon, but it's like I said, it's light, and I'm able to carry it concealed if I need to. I'm able to carry it on my belt depending on what your preference is.
Well, but guys, of course you're able to carry it on your belt. It's a Glock 17 size handgun. everybody gets what it is. It's a full-size handgun, right? It's like, can you carry a Glock 17? Yes. You know, if it's too big for you, it's not designed for concealed carry, but you can if you really wanted to. I used to carry a 17. I know lots of people that do. It's like, it's a full-size handgun.
And heck, I can still carry a full-size 2011, so yeah, it
Yeah,
can be done.
So yeah, you can. Did you guys know that you guys can carry this gun in your belt in a holster?
Revolutionary knowledge. How would I?
You can
have figured
see
this
that
out?
the slide is fairly easy to pull back. What I enjoy about something like
slide is easy to pull back.
You know, as he's like this big muscular guy, right? He looks like he's in great shape. He's like, yeah, I can like do this, guys.
Wow.
All right.
Like this is that the serrations are available on the front and the rear. And with this weapon, it doesn't really like dig into my fingers. So it's allowing me to rack the weapon both in the front and the rear without like causing my opposite hand damage, right? So there are some
causing
opposite hand damage from front serrations. Now that's a new one. That's a new one.
Yeah. I don't know.
If these slide serrations on your gun are machined so poorly
I was saying,
that
my 17's in the closet, but I mean, like without serrations, you know, you can just grip the gun and like rack it. You have this, like if you can hold an apple in your hands, which I assume this gentleman can, you can pull back the slide on a Glock. Yeah. All right. I mean, like, listen, having slide serrations great, but you don't need to be like, I can like rack it with them. It's like, yeah, we all get that. That's what they're
cutting my hands up. Oh,
it's a nice. It's a Puff Plus commercial. That's what it feels like, right? It's like you go into every little detail and be like, man, it like the slide moves.
Whoa.
Oh, well, we're going to get a lot of this because there's also going to be times where it's going to be like the magazine, it inserts. Woo. All right.
Weapons that whenever they put the serrations, it's kind of like a rough edge on your hand. This one does not have that.
I mean, so again, you could summarize the whole like 15-second arc as like, hey, it has front slide serrations that are machined well. Right? That's why running a script, you can get a lot more information into a much shorter period of time.
We do have a Hollow Sun green dot mounted on top. It's got a fairly nice window, and then also on the front of this, it has the night sights on the front, so I'll be able to use this weapon at night. It's not one of those fiber optics or just a regular red dot. So again, if I need to pull this weapon out at night, even if my green dot's not on or my optic is not on, I'm still going to be able to engage with my targets.
Again, listen, there was a lot of word salad in there, but it's like, hey, it has night sights from the factory. Cool little upgrade, right? That's nice. But also, you have a light on the gun. Also, you don't necessarily need night sights to engage at night, right? If you can see the target, you can probably put your sights and align your sights on it. So, yeah, there's going to be lots of insightful insights in this insightful video. And it also has a Holosun, what looks like an EPS carry on top in green, which is a good red dot. It's actually sitting right next to me. Yes, I think he does also have either a mohawk or a mullet underneath the hat. So pick your poison, whether you'd rather have the hat on or off. The Kamala Harris of gun reviewers. Unbelievable that you would say this about this kind gentleman, who is the director of training at Sheepdog Response. Keep that in mind.
It does have the flared mag wells, which is good for whenever I'm doing magazine insertions or magazine changes. It's easy for me to get the magazine in and out. You guys can see that it goes right in, and there's a real big, if you look right here, there's a real big magazine release.
Guys, I can hit the magazine release and they go in and out.
Whoa.
This is the insights. This is the insights that I go to the director of training at Sheepdog Response for, guys. Like, I press this button and the magazine drops, right? And then he's like gripping the mag, right? Like you're handing a treat to a dog or something. He's like shoving it in. It's like, all right.
So it's easy for my finger to hit it. Again, this is very important whenever I want to do my mag changes, because The last thing I want is having to fumble with this magazine release. You can see that when my weapon's at full presentation, I can just drop the magazine right back out.
Yeah, you can. It's a button on every gun ever made, unless it's a Walther or a few other random guns. Yes, the magazine release does in fact work.
Incredible.
Put another one right back in. The slide lock is a little bit hidden. You can see on this little edge right here that might get in the way. For somebody like me who loads and reloads with the slide lock, that might be an issue.
It has a low profile slide stop and slide release, which is nicely protected with this raised ridge so you don't accidentally actuate it when you're gripping the gun with a high grip. Now, some people might prefer an extended slide stop and slide release, but those are available on the aftermarket.
Other than that, you'll see that most police officers are taught to load their weapons by racking the slide, which again is important to have good serrations on the front and the rear of the weapon. That's the way that I'm going to be loading my weapon.
I think it's nice to have. I would not call them important. I think it's a nicety. I think they look nice. But listen, man, if you need them to load the weapon, I think you're doing something wrong, right? He's back to the serrations again. It looks cool. I get it.
But wait,
low slide release, like every Glock ever. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he say that police officers are trained to use forward slide serrations, or was he just saying that they are trained to use their slide to load their weapon? Because I think that's what he said.
To have good serrations on the back in the slide. See that most police officers are taught to load their weapons by racking the slide, which again is important to have good serrations on the front and the rear of the weapon. That's the way that I'm going to be loading my weapon.
Is there another way to load your weapon?
You can see that there's a.
Ooh, wait. Go back.
That's the way that I'm going to be loading my weapon.
Okay. Didn't really flag him, but just close.
You can see that there's a rear.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, but right. Even still, I'm still not gonna like point the gun. Hey, there's no mag in it, bro. Don't worry about it.
Just relax. Why are you worried, bro?
Why are you upset? Listen, bro, there's no mag in it. You saw me rack it. We're good, bro. It just,
I'm just slightly numb because I've, volunteered at a gun store one too many times.
Well, yes, that does happen. Jay Ford for $4.99. Thank you very much, sir. Says, never trust a guy who thinks he's a blah something. I don't know what those last two letters are. Cowboy Santa. I mean, yeah, no, I will leave that there. Thank you. Thank you, sir. No one you know of, member for 2 months. Thank you very much, sir. Says, late. Did Frogman Tactical make the cut? What's that in reference to? Frogman Tactical? Were we going to be talking about them at some point? We were originally supposed to have Apex on the show, but they canceled for next week or some other time. So we will get them back on. Jay Ford for $1.99 says he seems just right for Taurus. Yeah, I think Sheepdog Response and Taurus also have a really good overlap in terms of their quality. So I think that would be a good fit for them. No one you know for $5 says tardy pass. Well, thank you for showing up, sir. We appreciate it. You came in at the best time. Civlink for $2 says, if scripts were required, these people wouldn't do YouTube. Well, here's the thing, guys. Like, they're paying a film crew for sure. They're paying somebody to edit that, right? They could literally throw it into Chat GPT and have one of their editors just edit the script slightly, and like you could be done in 15 minutes, right? You could do this incredibly easily. And they're already putting a lot of money into it, right? And they're actually having to edit around the blunders, which takes more time. I guarantee you this was like a 2-hour filming session that they cut down, which is also not enough time to do a review in the first place. This is probably like a 2 or a 3-hour session filmed that had to be cut down to 25 minutes, right? And that's a lot of work to do. Versus if you just have a script, you just film, and then you go talk into a microphone, and then the guy puts it all together, which is super easy. Tusk the Third says, why say lot word when few word do trick? That's a good yes. We should pull up the Kevin meme. You'll see. You'll see. Jay Ford for $4.99 says, and my partner and I can stir our pina coladas with the barrel. It is a very pretty pina colada in the lip zone on the barrel. That's where you suck it out of. Yes, as Richard says. No one you know of. Frogman Tactical is a former SEAL PewTuber. Oh, I'd have to look him up. I didn't know if there was anything that we should be covering about that. But let's get back to the video. Now, somebody asked, how long is this video? As you can see, it is
too long.
It is 25 minutes long, and we are only 5 minutes into the insights. All right,
24 minutes of this.
What is the hair and makeup budget? Unironically, he probably spent over $100 on his haircut. So
probably a lot.
Yeah.
Rail for the flashlight. I'm sure that there's many options as far as that concerned. All right, so let's talk about the grip. Again, it kind of makes my hand feel like it's dry because of the way that it feels. It makes it easier to draw. It's not going to slide around in my hand. Also, you'll see that the back of this beaver tail is more pronounced. And you can see that there's a lot of space between the beaver tail and the slide, and that's going to help me whenever I get my initial grip on my weapon. It's going to make sure that I get a good bite on my pistol grip, and it's going to make sure that the slide doesn't give me that slide bite, right? Also, you can see that there's an accessory rail in the front, somewhere I can mount a light, I can mount a laser, I can mount a bayonet if I get close enough, I want to stab somebody and then shoot them.
That's a joke. All right, it's fine. But yeah, it has an accessory rail. It has a beaver tail. It has every generic feature that has been around since 2005 or 6.
But this is a real good weapon. Again, it's also got that little stipple on the front, so it's good for me to index my weapon.
What?
What does that even mean?
It has a front grip section, so I can index. What are you indexing off of that on?
Did he?
Maybe his weak side thumb?
No, you can't reach that with your thumb. Are you like Mr. Slenderman over here reaching that with your thumb? That's in front of the trigger group. Let me listen to that again.
Stipple on the front, so it's good for me to index my weapon before I shoot. That's one good thing about the Shadow Systems and the XR 920p is that
I still do not know what he means by indexing the gun off of that front little grip section. Yes, Around the Fire LLC says salad fingers. Yeah. No, if you're reaching that with your thumb, that's quite a bit. Tusk the Third for 199 says, mud test with the partner incoming. Yes, it took 2 of us to mud test this Glock together. Don't ask why. Also, we're not wearing very much. Jay Ford for 199 says 25 minutes. That's 1,362 rounds in Taurus time. Yeah, for a minute video, they shot 18 rounds or whatever. So yeah, that's a lot of rounds that they could fit in here. Unironically, though, that Taurus video in 1:45 had more rounds fired than this video at 5 minutes and 40 seconds in. Indexing his beard. Oh, that's good.
You can't fault Tactical Brokeback Mountain, dude.
Oh, maybe I think we've talked about Frogman Tactical before. I don't want to. Every video is Navy SEAL. Yeah. He's still doing stuff apparently. All right.
Yep.
Navy SEAL. But we'll talk about that later.
All of this is factory. So if you want to buy a weapon that's ready for duty right off the bat, and it has all of the upgrades that you would have gotten a Glock anyway, then the Shadow Systems is your way to go. And so as we're shooting here, we're gonna.
Well, see, when you say stuff like that before you've even finished your evaluation, like this is the gun you're supposed to buy, like it's just an ad, right? It's an ad 5 minutes into the video. You literally haven't shot it yet, and you're like, listen, guys, if you want all the upgrades from the factory, don't buy Glock, buy this. This is the gun that you want, right? That's a very strong recommendation. And listen, I've shot the Shadow Systems Foundation DR920, whatever that thing is. It's fine. Like the frame is nice, the slide is nice, the optics cut is nice. And there's like a couple little things I don't like about it, but overall it was fine. Mine wasn't particularly reliable, which is why I would recommend a Glock over Shadow Systems. But if you do like some of the upgrades, Shadow Systems isn't like a terrible way to go. They don't like me, but that's all right.
We're gonna kind of see what the how the compensator works, and what I like to do is I'll aim at a small point on the target. For this one, I'll aim at the head. I'll squeeze the trigger, and I'll see the jump, right? So I'm a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 inches above. And if I want to shoot fast, it's a fairly...
So
fast.
Let me back up real fast. So this is a common misconception where people say that, with the compensator on whatever, the dot never leaves the window. That's not true. The dot always leaves the window. No matter what you're doing, it just does, right? As soon as it moves like 1.5 degrees or 2 degrees, it's gone, right? So if we go frame by frame in this, which we should be able to here, we can see that the first thing that the gentleman does is drives the gun down. Oh, no, let's go back. Went too far. Okay, so let's watch this. Okay. Scroll. So the first thing that we see here is see the muzzle start to dip down slowly, pulls the trigger, and the dot's gone. It's just you don't see the dot anymore, right? So seeing that it rises only like 1 inch or 2, it's like meaningless. The dot's gone, and it should return to the same place if you are putting in the right amount of input, which is the difficult thing with a handgun is to maintain the proper input on the gun so that it just returns to the same spot every time. You pick a very small point to look at, and the dot should just naturally return. If it's not returning, you're doing something wrong, basically.
If I want to shoot fast, it's a fairly even slide from the slide back and forth of the slide, and that.
What even was that?
What are you saying? It's an even back and forth on the slide if you want to shoot quickly. As somebody says in the chat, he's like 5 yards away from the target. He's at 5 to 7 yards shooting at a C-zone steel, which C-zones are big, are very big. If you're missing a C-zone at 5 or 7 yards, you are doing something horrifically wrong. Now, 15, 20, 25 yards, if you're really pushing speed, you can definitely miss a C-zone, right? If you're really pushing speed or just, you're inexperienced or whatnot, it can definitely happen. But yeah, this is a little too close. A little too close for that. Oh, wrong one. J4 for 499 says he doesn't know what that means either about indexing his thumb. Yeah, he's also confused. He's just talking. Like words are coming out and they're not making any sense. Wix for $2 says, review the Holosun Ames Max Ronin, please XD. If they would actually come in stock, I would buy one because I have dealer pricing on them, but they never come in. Yeah, it's just a word salad. So I want to listen to that again because that was entertaining.
And if I want to shoot fast, it's a fairly even slide from the slide back and forth of the slide, and
it's a very even slide back and forth on the slide if I want to shoot fast.
Hello, Kamala Harris.
Well, it's like AI stands for artificial intelligence. AI. Do you know what that means?
There is no AI here. This guy is far from it. This is genuine stupidity.
Artificial intelligence when genuine stupidity walks in the room. Coast to maxing. If I want to shoot fast, the slide goes back and forth. Ooh. That's like saying the thing when I pull the thingy, the other thingy does the movement.
It's the shoulder thing that goes up.
Oh, it's that thing? Man, I've been looking for that.
What does that stand for again? Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's important whenever I want to get back on target. When it comes to duty weapons, yes, the first shot is very important, right? So that's going to be based on your basic fundamentals. How do I get my sights on target, right? So that
what?
Well, so I think the point that he's making there is the first shot's very important. That's based off of your fundamentals, like picking up picking a spot on the target and just immediately presenting to that point, right? That's the number one basic skill, right? And it's very important for police officers and whatnot because the first shot is usually the one that should not go into a bystander. That should go into the perp.
Typically,
unless you're Russian.
There's no such thing as a bystander. There's no innocent people in Russia. What are you talking about?
We're all guilty here.
All right, let me.
Got to be based on your basic fundamentals. How do I get my sights on target? Right, so that's something that I can drill no matter what gun that I'm shooting. But something like this weapon, wherever I shoot and it doesn't jump out of my hand or jump too far, the sights don't jump too far out of my line of sight, I'm going to be able to get an additional.
Again, they do. The dot goes away every time you pull the trigger. It does. Now, it might not look like that in your mind because you're just seeing a flash of red go up and down, right? But it does. It leaves your line of sight every time, which is why you don't stare at it. You stare at the target, specifically a very small point on the target. But yes, the gun should not jump out of your hands, even if it's a 22 Tuck by Mr. Matt Little, or if it's a comped 9mm full-size handgun. It should not jump out of your hands, good sir. Yes, he shoots it and it doesn't jump out of his hand. Yes, which is why you can shoot a subcompact. I feel like every time somebody talks about grip, we should just pull up the Ben Stoker video where he's shooting a P365. Actually, why don't I just do that right now?
I want to get him to shoot a Zip 22 because it has no grip at all.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even work.
I'd say it wouldn't work.
I have one of the only working models that I've ever seen.
No way.
Okay, so this was actually, to brag a little bit, but this was the class that I was at. So I actually got to be here for this demonstration live. Let's see. Staccato XC, where's this 365 at? I know it's in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's the little guy. Now, as you can see, Ben is just eating a little hole there in the center with this tiny little gun that's not going to jump out of his hands. Let's let Ben explain it for a second.
So fast, so I'll have more dominant hand tension, and I'm really going to work to get my support hand in there. Okay. All right, it'll still do what I want it to do. Now, adding a staccato. This is, it torques a little bit. Unlike the comped one, it feels a little torquey and the grip is slick, but this one's pretty easy to shoot, I think.
Now, you may have noticed that neither of those guns jumped out of his hands. One of them a comped 2011 and one of them a tiny polymer framed SIG P365. Sorry, there's way too many letters and numbers. But yeah, gun shouldn't jump out of your hands.
Oh, Ben just has pedigree.
He does have a lot of pedigree.
Just got to get pedigree and you'll shoot good.
If you guys are too far out of my line of sight, I'm going to be able to get an additional shot faster. All right. If you guys ever hear me talking about what's the most important thing, it's about getting as many rounds as I can down range, shooting the guy that I want to shoot. I want to close my OODA loop faster than the person is trying to shoot me. Having a compensator and a gun that's light and able to shoot evenly is going to give me the advantage whenever it comes to taking my additional shot.
I think for most people, having a nicer gun is an advantage, right? But it's very funny when somebody talks about like advantage or shooting quickly and accurately or whatnot, and they're shooting like really, really slow at a really big target up close.
Yeah, those are like what point
not the OODA loop
splits.
Well, yeah, it's like bang, bang. Listen, like you should be able to do doubles like very quickly, like 0.2 at that range, very easily, very, very easily.
All right, so now let's talk about both the magazine release.
Not again. Not again. Are we really going to be talking about the magazine release again?
He's obsessed with the mag release. You can move the mag.
I press button, mag drop. Wow.
No shot.
Enthralling.
All right, so now let's talk about both the magazine release and the flared mag well to kind of see what our mag change is going to look like, right? So I'm here doing my shooting. I run out of rounds. You can see that just a little manipulation of my hand, and this is how I change my mags anyway, and that magazine drops right out. I get my additional mag, and this one slides right in.
Despop says, I just joined in. This is a spokesperson because of the way that he looks. Yeah, they do have a certain look to them. That is funny. Yeah, no, this is the director of training at Sheepdog Response doing a video, which he's already recommended, the Shadow System CR920P or XR920P versus the Canik TTI Combat. And yes, he does look like a spokesperson. Slides right in, baby.
Anyway, and that magazine drops right out. I get my additional mag, and this one slides right in. Again, when it comes to police officers or whatever your type of training is, you'll see that a lot of people are able to use the serrations to reload their weapon. For me, it's as simple as hitting that slide lock release and getting right back on target.
Somebody says, "I bet the Canic can't do reloads." No, I bet there's about as much insight on the Canic reloads as there are on the Shadow Systems XR920p.
Again, this is a really big magazine release and a really big magazine well for you to get more rounds in your gun, get more rounds down range. And that's great for a duty weapon for police officers that need speed and need ease of load. This weapon, I think, takes care of both of those things. And the last thing I'll talk about is that.
Oh dear. I mean, I think a minute of this video so far has been him talking about specifically the magazine release and magwell, right? It's like, you guys, we can put the magazine in the gun and we can press the button to drop the mag. Like, that's all right. Like, honestly, I would have preferred if this script was written by an AI.
It probably would have been better.
It would have been shorter. It would have been more concise. Would have gotten real information, and it probably would have been less biased.
Yeah.
Need ease of loads.
Most Shadow Systems will take a Glock magazine. So if you're already in the Glock family, you're already part of the.
Wait. Sorry. Most. What do you mean most?
Won't?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, do they make a 320 clone? No,
not that I know of.
Isn't it all?
As far as I know, they're all Gen 3 Glock clones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Does it take Glock mags? According to the director of training at Sheepdog Response, most do. So
they're the ones.
Oh, do they make a 1911? Okay, if they make a different model, yeah, that is funny.
I don't think so.
Josh? We see you. What's up, Josh?
The Glock community, you don't have to buy any different magazines. You can use the same ones that you're using for your Glock, and they'll fit right in. And as you can see, they shot just fine. All right, so let's talk about the trigger a little.
I think it was like 10 rounds. As you can see, they shoot great. Fantastic.
But
so good.
You can see that there is a safety on the trigger, which means that has to be depressed in order for the weapon to fire. Now, if we look at the slack we have, there's quite a bit of slack. I think that most weapons have the same thing, but as we
I think most. It's a striker fired handgun. I mean, come on, this is just like generic striker fired handgun stuff that like doesn't require elaboration. It is a 25-minute video.
Train, we kind of feel where the wall for that gun is. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, if we're looking at the front sight post, right? If we look at the front sight post right here, as I squeeze the trigger, there's no movement in the barrel whatsoever.
I sure hope
so
there would
clean
be movement in the barrel.
I mean, yeah, because you're dry firing. There shouldn't be a lot of movement unless you're doing something terribly wrong, which is also kind of an issue with dry fire, is that people will pull the trigger like really, really slow to make sure that dot doesn't move. So they like stare intently at it and they're like, okay, make sure it doesn't move. Okay, so I broke the trigger really easy, right? And then you get out in live fire and then you are trying to go fast, or you're putting a lot more tension on it, and then you're actually pulling it around because you're not shooting the same way that you're training, right? It's completely different.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there slow pressing the trigger, staring at the dot, which is just bad fundamentals.
So John Browning Gun Club asks a good question here. Shadow Systems or PSA Dagger?
Which
Shadow
has a better
Systems,
track record?
I would go with the Shadow Systems, even though, because I like the frame, and like I can replace an extractor if it doesn't work.
I'm curious to see what chat has to say.
Now, Deskpop says, I bet his video got more views than my stuff, though. No, this video is 3 months old. It did 15K on a channel with 167,000 subs. So, actually, that would be a fun video. Just do the exact same concept, Canic TTI Combat versus Shadow Systems. Do the exact same video. I think you would get more. I think you would get more off of it. I would
Do a
guess.
spoof video. Put a Santa beard on. Spray tan.
Oh,
Do
yes.
it. Do it.
Yeah, not blackface, but just
Spray tan.
Tan, you know. Tan.
Get that nice orange.
Yeah.
I think that gives you a little bit of a feel as to when what is actually supposed to fire. But the trigger squeeze is very clean. There's no movement. Even with one hand on the weapon, you can see that there's no movement.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I want to go over that, but yeah, not much movement in the gun when I pull the trigger really slowly.
We got a confirmation. Despot said he'll do it.
Based. Yeah, I think it'll do better.
In the front side post.
Take the whole transcript. Do it word
So let's
for
load
word.
it up and see where we're at as far as that's concerned. Again, safety on the trigger.
Okay, for reference, there's a round in the chamber, and he's pulling the trigger. Now he's fairly close to the berm, but at one point the Glock is angled at a upward trajectory, and I'm like, bro, like please do not launch that bullet into unknown territory.
Aim it a little high.
Very clear.
Okay, I don't know what you're getting out of this. What is going on? What training value are we? What training value are we getting here? Listen, guys, if I shoot the gun like over here, like is this like Chicago style training? Right? You need to practice no look shooting with your arm extended or something.
It's got to be tilted over to the side.
I was gonna say I'm gonna critique his form. Your arm needs to be locked out for maximum recoil control, and you need to have the gun turned sideways. You know, unbelievable. I don't know what's going on here. Like I legitimately don't know what value he's getting by showing off not looking at the gun while it fires. And remember, this is the director of training for Sheepdog Response. Just every time he says something, just keep that in mind.
I kind of want to go and take one of their trainings.
Balls nasty says director of window licking.
Clean, one-handed shots.
Very clean one-handed shots, sir. Thank you very much.
This bro isn't even aiming him.
Not a bad trigger. A little bit of a slack in the pull, but you know every weapon has that unless it's a competition weapon. For a duty pistol, that's something that you want. That way you can get a good sight on your target with that trigger squeeze right up to the wall and take your effective shot. All right, the next one we're going to be talking about is the Taurus Tactical or the Canik.
Yeah, we're on to the Precious. We're on to the second gun. 10 minutes into the video, we have shot exactly 21 rounds of ammunition. 10 minutes into the video, half of it while not looking at our target, shooting at an unknown place.
This really almost feels like a Collier Noir video.
It's pretty bad. So now, here's the thing. Now that we're on to the Canik, do we think that he's going to bring up the magazine release and magwell again?
100%.
Yes. Of course he is.
100%.
Of course he is.
There's no way he doesn't.
TTI Combat, right? Again, this is a collab between Canik and Taurus Tactical. From my initial grip, whenever I picked this up, it does feel good in my hand. I will say that because the stipple isn't on the part where my finger would be pulling, that does feel a little bit different. But once I do have an
whoever did the photography, thank you again. Your B-roll looks very good. It is very entertaining to watch. So thank you very much.
The only thing saving this video.
I will say though, to the editor, if you could not show the guy, if you could just put in his B-roll, that would make the video far better. So actually just show the guy less, put more B-roll. I will pay you myself to do that.
Established grip. This gun doesn't feel like it's gonna budge out of my hand. You can see that the slide lock here, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit longer. It's gonna take a little bit getting used to whenever you buy a weapon, but that's just about any gun. You'll see that the hard edges on the serrations, and that's just the front and the rear serrations on the slide lock, kind of aggressive, which might feel a little bit uncomfortable to your hands. But whenever it comes to loading and reloading, that might become an advantage, right? Because that's gonna be noticeable in your hand whenever.
Man, half this time is the serrations. Yes, we got it. The slide has front and rear serrations, which you Shadow Force says also mute his mic. it's just 25 minutes of B-roll. Yes, actually, that might actually be better. Did the serrations hurt him? It's very possible. He keeps talking about them. Yes, it has serrations that you can use to rack the slide. Also, he hasn't talked about it, yes, but the slide does slide, and it has a very even slide when it's sliding. So we'll see if he brings up that point.
It's time for you to either rack your weapon or to reload or to release a slide lock. All right, these rough edges are going to let you know that you're putting your finger in the right spot.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there's some tactile feedback in the slide serrations. Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
If we talk about the trigger, you can see that this trigger, even though it does have a safety on the trigger, it's a 90-degree squeeze. With
brother, thank you for your B-roll again. Looks fantastic. Very crisp. Very crisp.
In competition or in shooting in general, whenever that weapon it's less curved, it gives you a cleaner and straighter pull. And we could see again that the wall exists just like in
the wall exists.
And it's going to be 10 feet higher.
Brother. Brother, the wall does exist and you have hit it. All right. All right. Built around the fire LC says, build the wall. Yes, exactly. He's got walls on his mind. Dirty Shinobi says, why are you torturing us, John? Because it's fun. You know what? Actually, who put this in the chat? Was it Randy? Randy put this in the Discord. I watched it and I said, you know what? Everybody else has to watch this as well.
Yeah, you immediately sent it to me.
Yeah. Well, it's so bad. There's no information in the video. There's no information in the video. You could read a brochure, just like a 5x5 brochure, and it would have all of the actual information in this video. And you could watch any person actually shoot the gun to give better feedback on it. Keep in mind that this is the director of training for Sheepdog Response.
I don't know how anyone could watch this video and take this seriously. But sadly, you know that there are people that did take it seriously. That just hurts.
I'm going to have a certain individual in our Discord run a Chat GPT prompt on both of these
That's
guns.
actually, hey, that's you. That's you, Randy. You've already left that. The wall exists. Yes. Yes, it does. Oh my gosh. Anyways, let's let it roll.
In this case, once I get to the actual wall, the weapon's getting ready to shoot. And just like the shadow systems, it does have a flared magwell, which is going to speed up my reloads. It does have a compensator on the front.
All right, just as a point of technicality, Logan, does a flared magwell speed up your reloads?
Really?
Well, the answer is no. It doesn't actually add speed. It covers up your mistakes, right?
Yeah, it gives you more room for error.
Yes.
But the actual speed, that's all on your arm movements.
Yep. The speed is you, my friend, when you grab the mag.
I am sped.
It really makes me more sped when I push the magazine button.
The main difference is this one's just a little bit bigger but twice as heavy. The Kennick,
again, he made a mistake on that. He thinks it's a different gun because he doesn't understand that this is the TDI Combat, not the Kennick Rival S. That's a steel frame. Somehow he doesn't feel that in his hands that it's the same weight as the other gun, but that's beyond the point.
TDI Combat comes in at about 42 ounces, which is almost twice.
Gosh dang it. He's going to go off about this.
As much as the shadow systems, and it's a little bit taller. Again, this gun is marketed more towards competition shooting, so the size of you being able to conceal it is secondary to this, right? Obviously,
I think that is a very baller move to conceal carry the Kennick TTI Combat. Dude, there's one used in Sioux Falls right now for $750. I almost got it the other day. Just sitting at a gun store, waiting for me to take it home, $750 used. I wonder why. I wonder why they got rid of it so fast, but yeah. I think it will be fun. I can't use it for anything because I can't use it in USPSA, but it'd be fun to shoot.
Any weapon that I pick up, any gun, whether it's a competition gun or self-defense or duty pistol, I can use for self-defense purposes. It's just depending on on how I'm going to carry that weapon, or if I do intend on doing so. And, having a
Did anyone understand the last 10 seconds of what he said?
I haven't understood the last 9 minutes.
or duty pistol I can use for self-defense purposes. It's just depending on how I'm going to carry that weapon, or if I do intend on doing so. And, having a race gun or a competition gun in my house sitting on a dresser will do the same work as a duty weapon that's sitting on my dresser. I just have to employ it, and obviously the more you train on those things, the better. But
I do not know where that sentence went. Like, I think he was trying to make a point, and then he just swapped to something else. You just insert generic trope here. Oh, it's a training thing. Train over it. You know, you can use it. It's just whatever.
Because this gun is marketed towards competition shooting, it's going to be a little bit bigger because, again, they're trying to shoot fast and more accurate. And the bigger the weapon is, the cleaner the trigger squeeze is, the faster they're going to be able to get these.
The bigger the weapon, the cleaner the trigger squeeze. I think you might mean the heavier the gun, the less your trigger pull might interfere, right? Just by virtue of it being heavier, your action of your trigger finger is going to impart less movement in the gun. There is some truth to that.
Yeah.
These rounds off. You can see that this weapon also has a compensator.
Oh, RC says if it's at Shields, the UPC tells you how much they paid for it. No, it's actually sitting at Gary's gun shop in Sioux Falls for $750. But I also have access to Canic dealer pricing, so I can tell you what I could buy it from the dealer website, but then I have to pay the transfer fees and other things because I'm not an FFL, so it's actually not worth it to buy it from the dealer website. But no, the dealer price is like $650, $660, something like that. But the MSRP is like $900, so finding one for $750, not a bad deal.
Yep. It's bigger than the Shadow Systems, and this gun in general is a little bit more flashy, right? I mean, they put the Terran Tactical logo on the front, not to tell you that this is a better gun, but that this is it's a John Wick version of the Canic. And the first thing people are going to see is they're going to see.
I think somebody was counting how many times he had racked the slide, and he's up to like 100 at this point.
The gold accents or the bronze accents, and then they're going to see.
Now, to be fair, the other gun had a gold titanium nitride fluted barrel, so they're both kind of flashy, right?
Yeah.
But the what's his face? The TTI Terran Tactical logo is ugly.
The Terran Tactical. I just want you guys to know that it doesn't matter what your gun says. If you don't train, you're not going to be able to shoot it, right? But if you buy something like a Canic TTI Combat, and you get on the range and you mess, that's you. It's not the gun. Okay.
Just to be clear, it's always you. It's always been you.
That's with any gun. The only way the gun's missing is if something's catastrophically broken with it, or like there's no rifling in it.
Right. So again, keep in mind that this is the director of training for Sheepdog Response, which is Tim Kennedy's channel, which makes it all the funnier. Does it come with underage kid allegations in the box? No, those come separately, but often related for some reason.
Okay, so you cannot spend your way out of bad shooting. Whether
House of Osborne says this guy is John Whack. Oh, that's good.
I'm shooting a Canic TTI Combat, if I'm shooting a Glock 19, if I'm shooting a Beretta, I don't know why you'd be doing that, but if you're shooting a Beretta 9mm, it comes down to training. It might be the gun for the Beretta, but
first off, how dare you? Berettas have won many world championships, good sir. Okay. The what's the face? The Langdon Tacticals Berettas are fantastic. So how dare you impugn their name, good sir? Unbelievable.
Don't get the
other than that,
Beretta hate from
it's
this
you.
guy.
It's you, right? So you got to get on the range and train. You got to get in the house and dry fire. You can see that on this weapon is a Hollow Sun green dot. This Hollow Sun has the panels on top, so the batteries aren't going to die. It's using solar power to power this thing up. Just like the I'm not saying just like the Shadow Systems, but this Canic has a more pronounced and square magazine release.
Yeah, we're back to the magazine release. We're back. We're so back, baby. Again, to the editor and the photographer, thank you for showing the gun again.
Again, this is for speed, and it's fairly easy to access.
Yep, you can push the magazine release, that's for sure.
Once we start shooting this gun, we start
another rack.
Do mag change. We'll get more into that. And it does have, again, an accessory or light rail in the front, just in case you want to put a laser or a bayonet or a flashlight on the front of your weapon. So whether I'm shooting at night or if I'm just going to keep this weapon concealed, this weapon is set to do all of those things, right? So let's load it up and get some shooting in.
That was 2 more racks, by the way, for whoever's counting out there.
So whether I'm shooting at night or if I'm just going to keep this weapon concealed, this weapon is set to do all of those things, right? So let's load it up and get some shooting in. When I shoot this, the gun does jump out of my sights, but it seems to settle right back into where I was at. Unlike the...
I have no idea what he means here. When I shoot this thing, the gun jumps out of my sights. Do you mean that the sights move out of your vision? Because they're attached to a slide, so yes. But you also have a dot on there, which I imagine is your point of aim, or at least your reference point, maybe. Yeah, it's a ported 9mm. Like, it's aggressive shooting, I'm sure, because it's lightweight, but I don't think it's as jumpy as you're making it sound.
Yeah,
I like to think.
I noticed that whenever
I like to think that he's squinting his eyes really, really badly every shot, like a 6-year-old does.
Well, dude, that's why he has the sunglasses on. Is he's like pointing his head away from as he's
it's like, oh, it's gonna go off.
Oh no, not again. He actually hates doing these videos. No one, you know, for
slow.
no one. Well, he's afraid of missing. I think because people get on camera and then they're like, oh, you know, now I'm gonna look bad. I gotta shoot well, you know. And then they end up just being embarrassing. No one you know of for $2 says not properly wrapping the arms for the pedigree. Yeah, this form is way off. Thank you, sir. J4 for $4.99 says, for 21 years in the Army as a hand-to-hand instructor made him a handgun expert. Oof. Now, somebody asked about his ears. That is cauliflower ears from either wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You just get that after a while of having your head smashed into a canvas. Just happens. So, yeah. I'm not doubting his credentials in other fields. I'm just saying his video on these handguns is hilarious.
I think he probably rolled with Tim in the MMA days.
Well, he might have rolled with a few other gentlemen, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, Tusk the Third for $1.99 says, let's do that covered in baby oil. All right.
Perfect timing.
Tusk is getting his late night freak on. No one you know it for $2 says, this gun fits my hand better. Rip the Paul Harrell. Yes, indeed.
Rest in peace.
Glow So Bright for $2 says High Point C9 versus Shadow Systems MR921. Well, you see on the High Point C9, it's got this button on the side, and like I can reach it and I push it, and then the magazine falls out, and then I can put the other magazine in. It's pretty good.
Dang, you almost got a career with Sheepdog Response,
bro. I could do it.
Do you still have either a Zev or a Shadow Systems?
No, bro. Of course not.
Dang.
Yeah. Dude, I sold that Shadow Systems that I got for like $200. I was like, get this thing out of my sight. Mace fell out the window for $5. Says the most egregious part of this video was that Beretta slander. Ugh. His magazine release, and his slide serrations can suck it. I tend to agree with you, sir. Yeah, the Beretta hate, unfounded. J Ford for $4.99 says he's Hawaiian, did a half tour in 2003, and spent the rest of his career teaching hand-to-hand because Hawaiians are known for their karate. Well, again, I'm not knocking his achievements in other areas or his service, right? For anything that he's done. I'm saying that this video is silly, right? It's also funny that he is the director of training for Sheepdog Response. So that's it. Don't take everything too seriously. It's just funny that he put out this video. And that somebody had to edit like 3 hours of footage down to 25 minutes. Oof. And Axe to Grind says he's a man-to-hand combat expert. That's a good one. All right.
I squeezed the trigger. It was whenever I got done shooting, it would stop about 2 or 3 inches above the target. This one, it does jump out of my line of sight, but lines right back into my point of aim.
So is he saying that the gun, like, okay, so you have your point of aim, you shoot, and then you just don't bring it back down at the same spot every time? Is that what he's saying? Like, guns do require some input. Usually, the better the gun, the less input, you could say, or the softer shooting the gun, the less input you have to put on it, right?
Still put some.
Well, yeah, of course. You are the one operating the gun. The gun doesn't magically not move. That's not how physics work.
Which lets me know that the compensator is doing its job, right? Also, it does have these little cuts inside the slide, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with the escaping of the gas, cooling of the barrel, and
cooling of the barrel for the 5 rounds that you shot so far. I don't think that matters at all, bro.
Barrel's
I don't
so
think
hot,
that matters at all.
It's throwing off his accuracy. Barrel's getting too hot.
Yeah, we'll look at the comments. I mean, it does look like it's moving a lot because, again, it's a polymer framed handgun. It's not particularly heavy. Even with a comp on the end, it's probably not that efficient because those are pretty small comps. So it's going to be a little jumpy with a good trigger. Should be fun. Yeah, the air-cooled pistol barrel.
Me able to get my shot back on target. All right, so now that the weapon is...
Oh, reload.
It's empty. Again, I get my weapon. I am able to drop the magazine. It's a fairly clean drop. And then...
Again, we're talking about the fantastic insights that this gentleman has. This is some of the most insightful insights to ever be cited in on a gun.
Again, while using...
What do you think about that mag swap there?
Just specimen.
That is a interesting form. The right hand, perfectly fine. The left hand looks
Not so much.
Little silly.
Using the third magwell. This one's a little bit tighter. I think that it's wide enough for the initial entry, but it's going to be up to you as a shooter to line the rest of the magazine up.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't want to do
You're
a
right.
take 2.
The editor is like, no, I'm leaving this in, buddy. Oh my gosh.
This guy.
Oh my gosh. He's like shoving it like 6 times. Like, guys, this magazine release or this magazine well requires you to aim it into the mag well. Like, what is this?
It's not speeding it up for me.
Yeah, he's not used to the tight entryways, shall we say.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
With the magwell. I feel like with the shadow systems, it kind of went in there a little bit easier. But with,
shadow systems well used, let's say. Speaking of walls, maybe the shadow system hit the wall and is trying to settle down.
If I had this gun for 2 or 3 days of dry firing, I could fix that, I feel like. So again, it's not the...
In context, that is very funny. Very, very funny. Oh, dear.
Oh, goodness.
This is what 200 milligrams a week of test does to your brain. It's possible. It's possible. A lot of sliding in, guys. Yeah, he's really working out that magwell. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say, I agree with Sun Valley Organics here. I want Ben to see this video.
Oh gosh, that would be a...
And again, keep in mind that this guy is the director of training. So if you pay to go to Sheepdog Response, this guy's probably going to be around or involved. And let's just say that necessarily the level on display is not confidence inspiring in the quality of their classes or the value for the money that you may or may not hand them.
You know their classes are like $1,000 each or something like that.
Now I got.
I wonder.
No,
we have to look it up and see how much it is, and then I think we have to crowdfund enough money to send Ben to one of the classes.
Ben would not do it. Ben would not do it. Protector 1 trauma. See now. If he's the director of training and it's like all self-defense training, like hand to hand, like that's great. But why are you the guy doing the live fire demo on the channel, right? Give that to somebody else. Let's see. Protector. Is it all hybrid stuff? So it's like half hand to hand, half handgun? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, it looks fine.
Tactical shotgun. Oh, that's got to be fun. Basic pistol. Let's see. Oh, 250. That's not bad. Now, what is a protector class? Well, the night vision is probably expensive. But let me see. Just a generic protector 1. $950, bro. Jeez. Well, actually, I take it back. That's actually not terrible. It looks like it's a 3-day class.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
And if that's like a day of shooting, a day of hand-to-hand, and a day of like medical, as like a 3-in-1, like that's actually not terrible.
Not ridiculous.
No, because what's a trauma? $625. That's expensive. It's a 2-day, but that's still expensive. Honestly, the trauma ones, that's what people should get anyways. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And for a pistol 1, $250, that's actually not bad. 1 day only, $250. That's not terrible. Now,
is the training good though?
Well, that's the next point, right? Is the quality of the training I cannot vouch for, but the price, not horrible. But unfortunately, oh no way! Does it really say only 75 rounds?
You sure that's not missing a 0?
Did it really say that? What am I on right now? I'm on Protector 1. Can you give me some details? You can't. Oh, here we go. About this course, don't own a firearm.
No, the pistol course.
Well, I'm just curious. So self-defense, striking skills, weapon retention, proper loading, unloading, and reloading. That's nothing. Correcting weapons malfunctions, pistol fundamentals. Okay, so it's a hybrid striking handgun course. And situational awareness. Whatever that means. Okay, so it is. Okay, so topics covered in day 1 is classroom. Day 1 is classroom only. Rough. Day 2 and 3 is half between gym and range, half between gym and range.
So you really only get 1 day of range time.
There's a packing list below itinerary.
Oh, packing list. Sorry. 400 rounds for the Protector 2. That's $1,500. The Protector 2 is $1,500. And only 400 rounds of ammo. So let's see. Can we just do it? Let's say intermediate pistol. What are we looking at? 400 rounds. That is not much. Now, keep in mind, at the Ben Staker class that I was at, I think I went through 700 on the first day.
What's that under new products there? Because that's Buddy right there.
Where is it, Chop?
New products.
Where are you seeing that?
Tim Kennedy's signature series.
Oh, that is him. It's like
it's just
Sheepdog Response. Okay. It's got some jiu-jitsu stuff, the rash guards. Very funny.
Never mind.
Virtual training. How much do I have to pay for their virtual training?
How much to pay for dry fire training?
Well, and so that's the thing that somebody like Matt Prank is really good about, is going through why the training is like overpriced BS a lot of the time, right? And it's just nonsense. Like the people instructing you don't know what they're doing. So they're teaching people bad things, bad habits, and they're not actually like performance oriented, which is literally the only reason you're going to a pistol class, is to get better. All right.
Do you still have the prices pulled up? I want to know how much the dry fire course is. I'm curious.
Oh, well, it's probably
I thought it said like $425 or something like that.
No. So dry fire virtual training, which is probably just videos. It's literally just videos.
Okay. Oh, I missed it. It's like $45. I thought
it's $45.
I added a zero in my head.
It's on sale, but yeah, it's
still
ridiculous.
You can. Ben Stegger's YouTube videos are free.
Yeah, or anybody's. Hunter Constantine just did a video on dry fire that is free to watch, and by a much more talented shooter.
Oh, 80s action movies are fun.
Does Pranka have 9 kids? No, I think Pranka has like 6 or 7 kids. He has a big family. That's what I've been told.
Gun. It's probably me. And then I use the slide lock to release.
Thank you.
Get back on. Incredible. Yeah, this is a very clean trigger squeeze. All right. If we come on this side. All right, we look at the wall again. We talked about the wall earlier.
No, please don't shoot into the air again.
This gun. Get my weapon.
Artillery fire.
Right, just like that.
Yikes, bro.
This is a very good competition gun. The wall, as soon as I hit it.
Okay, so listen. All right, if you tell me that this is a very good competition gun, What sort of experience might you need to tell me that?
Probably a little bit of competition experience.
You might need some competition experience. Now, if he had some competition experience, he could probably tell you that you can't use the Canik TTI Combat in competition because it has a compensator on it, right? So it's not legal in IDPA or USPSA unless you're in open. And I doubt you're running this gun in open.
If you're taking open seriously, you would not be running this.
I mean, you could do it for a meme. Like I had to run open once in a 3-gun competition because my shotgun had a red dot sight on it.
Oh yeah.
So I was forced into open with like regular ass stuff, and I had to be in open, which was very funny.
Any other pressure in the gun shoots.
That's looking just a little high, bro. It's just a little high.
What do you mean don't want to send rounds over the berm?
But did you know that if you touch the wall, which the wall is very important as we've gone over in this video, and then you press more, well, yes, it does exist, and then you press more, then the gun goes off.
Whoa. Blowing my mind right now.
So it's a lot of introspective information coming out of this video. Bro, no, you can't miss it 5 or 7 yards wherever you're at a C-zone steel. Don't do it.
Take 2.
Again.
No, not again. Don't tell me about it again. Gosh, dang it. You're going to do it again. No, stop it.
Take another drink, Magwell.
Very pronounced magazine release and wide magwell for easy entry. Yep.
Wait, I thought you said it was tight a second ago. You loosened it up after 5 minutes.
Toit like a tiger.
Yes, exactly. This is another funny thing. The gun companies who sent in these handguns they look at this video and they go, good, send it. Another mag release epiphany. Yes. Yes, indeed.
This guy.
Get more rounds down range. Right, which is
okay.
great.
You know what? You could actually just get more rounds down range and show it on camera. That would be much more entertaining.
Great for self-defense. It can't be bad for competition shooting. This weapon shoots very level.
Okay, just let's look at that statement there. And again, he contradicted himself. But it's, what did he say? Great for self-defense, also great for competition. I don't know if that's the same thing.
Right, which is great for self-defense. It can't be bad for competition shooting. This weapon shoots very level.
But remember earlier he said that it jumped quite a bit more.
Make up my mind.
RC says that's not how it works. It's like somebody just calling ICE just to deport people they don't like. Well, this is nothing. Dugan says that I'm sort of shocked how slowly he's firing so close on steel. You think he would be shooting dots on paper at that range? Like, listen, if you're this guy is the director of training. Maybe firearms aren't his forte, but if they're not his forte, he probably isn't the guy to be doing the demo. And these are big C-zone steel from 10 yards or less. And he is firing very slowly, and he did miss. You know, everybody makes mistakes, but it's just a little embarrassing.
It's got a really good trigger squeeze. And look, again, if we get close for this trigger squeeze, you can see that this weapon doesn't move at all. If I watch this red dot back here, it kind of lets me know when the trigger's ready to squeeze.
What?
Absolutely no movement. Almost.
That is okay. So if you don't know, Canics have a striker. Canics have a striker indicator at the back, right? Okay. So if it's ready to go, you can see that it has a little red dot at the back saying that the striker is in position. It has nothing to do with the wall or the trigger press or anything like that.
Almost no sound. And that weapon shoots. All right, and then with the again with the stipple, once
you must get paid by length of review. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. It's almost like finger on the trigger aimed into the palm of your hand. Almost. It's very close. Almost no sound, very audible click, instantaneous. Yes, he's like, it's very quiet. When it's not, and that's not even a positive thing. Like a striker's going off, you should want to hear that. It is a mechanical operation. It should be striking, no pun intended, quickly and hard enough to punch through hard primers.
The Mechanic has one of the most tactile trigger drops I've ever heard or felt.
Yeah, and that's why people like them.
It's one of the biggest selling
handgun
points.
with a good trigger. Yep. Dugan says, "Do you think anyone would like me in the Discord? They would love you, sir. I can send you the invite."
Absolutely, they would love you. Cokeman's in there too.
Ben says, "Please make it stop." Listen, man, we only have 8 more minutes of information to dump on us.
It does have it in the front on the front of the slide, just like the shadow systems, which lets me know my finger's in the right spot before I get my finger to the trigger.
What?
I think he's talking about that little grip pad at the front. So he puts his finger on it, and that's his index point for his trigger finger. And then that lets him know that he's properly indexed the gun. Is that what he's saying?
I'm confusing.
I don't think I'm retarded enough to understand this.
Yeah, Shadow4 says, "How do you make a video this long about nothing?" It's also important to remember that he is the training director for Sheepdog Response, and he got paid to make this video. So,
all right, guys. So we shot the guns. We took a look at them.
Bro, that was literally it's probably less than 30 total rounds, I would guess. I think we shot maybe 5 rounds at a time. BT says, "Living, breathing, unsolicited advice."
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oof.
We'll play with them a little bit. Now these are just my opinions. This does not reflect the opinions of Tim Kennedy or anybody else at Sheepdog Response. This is just my.
It would actually be much funnier if they did. Now for the review of the review. Yes, let's talk about, I think we'll get the magazine release and magazine well back in here one more time.
As a self-defense instructor, I see thousands of pistols every single month. I shoot them. I shoot every single one, especially if I've never shot them before. So putting these...
Okay, so that is him saying that he shoots a lot. A lot of different guns. Does a lot of training. That is saying that he shoots a lot.
Press X to doubt.
Thousands of guns a month. He sees thousands of guns a month, but that's multiple classes. Like, if you have 20 students per class, that's 50 classes in a month, which is not possible. So he might see maybe 100 guns a month. That would be much more accurate. And he probably... It does not appear that he shoots that much. Let's say that. Or at least to a high level. Because you don't necessarily need to shoot that much to retain proficiency. Like really good shooters, there are a few of them that don't shoot that much. Most of them shoot a lot, though. A lot.
These 2 guns in my hand. This is just my opinion, okay? Now, when it comes to the shadow systems, what I say that I like better than the TTI Combat is I like this, the grip better. All right, I feel like as a self-defense instructor, that this gives me a better draw. It has a better grip on it, and the beaver tail makes sure that my hands are going to be in the right spot. It's not going to get that bite.
All right, Logan, if a gun has a beaver tail, does that ensure that you get a good draw?
No,
only hand placement does. There are differences between guns that I might prefer one or the other, but one gun having a slightly different beaver tail does not ensure that I get a good grip. That is purely on me and how I grab the gun. That's true, actually. Somebody just said that most of those rounds are probably off to the side, just in the air, not aiming at anything. So it's not actually good for... he can say that he shot them, but they're not actually good for training value.
Again, the pull's good. The serrations are
We're back to the serrations again. Damn it.
Oh boy.
Better, in my opinion. But when it comes to the can.
Also, keep in mind that earlier on in this video, he already said that it was the gun that he would buy over clock. So I'm pretty sure he's slightly biased. And this comes back to the point of the stream. Reviewer, spokesperson, call it. This gentleman is a spokesperson.
100%.
He's like, hey guys, we're going to go review these guns and talk about what we like more, which one's better. And he knows which one he's picking. And listen, Canik and what's the other one? Canik and Shadow Systems have their share of paid shills. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Canik TTI Combat. What I like better about this is the trigger for sure. The trigger for sure is gonna have the advantage for me. Also, with the compensator, it's a much more even shot, so I'm gonna be able to get on target a lot better. When it comes to self-defense, I don't need.
I think he means that the recoil impulse is better for him, or that's less felt recoil, or something like that. That's probably what he means.
Rather than more even.
Jay Ford for $4.99 says it's confusing for him because the target is so big in his field of view. Right. He's having trouble picking a spot on the target because it's so big. Jay Ford again for $1.99 says gonna have to lube those mags. Jay Ford, you need an intervention as well because you are super chatting way too much. It's just Jay Ford after Jay Ford. Jay Ford for $4.99. Thank you very much, sir. Says if I take Protector 2, do I get to touch TK's medals? No. If you take Protector 2, he gets to touch you. So that's for the low price of $1,600. Or $1,500. Yeah, that's it. For Protector 2, Tim K, you both got to oil up and he gets to touch you. So it's kind of like a survive class, you know what I'm saying? Jay Ford for $4.99 says, WTF was that? Said the farmer in the field beyond the berm on the tractor. Yeah, we have a range here in Sioux Falls where people shot, above the berm or whatnot, and they hit somebody's four-wheeler as they were driving. So that was nice.
Fun.
Yeah.
Linda?
Oh yeah, right. Probably. You never know.
We have to get him on eventually.
We can talk about how he shot some girl in the head. Anyways, Jay Ford for $4.99 says, you guys are just jealous because you know that he pulls chicks into a van down by the river. Yeah, there's something going on here. All right.
Perfect shot.
Bulge Deep says, I think we should go watch Warrior Poet's George Floyd take instead of this guy. He's had enough airtime. No, we are completionists here. We haven't even gotten to the Magwell yet. What are you talking about?
I just need acceptable shots. And I think with this Canik and the way that it operates, especially with the trigger pull and the compensator, I'm going to be able to get more acceptable shots faster. As I talked about earlier, whenever I squeeze the trigger when it comes to the Canik, it kind of ended up in the same spot. I was right back in my point of aim, as opposed to the XR 920p. It came a little
It came. Anyways.
As opposed to the XR.
All right, I'm interested to see this. This is always fun. They shot pretty similarly. But in terms of return, the XR 920p, at least for him in that shot, was faster.
2 or 3 inches above. Again, for me, that all of that stuff is fixable through training. This is the first time I've shot either of these pistols. These aren't my guns.
Maybe you should actually do that then, sir. That's what I would recommend.
Nah, he doesn't do the training. He's just the director of training.
He's just again, remember, he's the director of training.
Once I get more familiar with those things, I think that the shooting would be a lot better. When it comes to the mag releases, they're
we don't actually need to compare them. We get it. It's all right, bro.
They're fairly even. The one in the Shadow Systems is wider and flatter. The Canik it's bigger and more pronounced. But the only thing I don't like about this is that whenever I see new shooters shooting with this and he's squeezing it so hard, that there is a tendency for people's palms to hit something that's this big. All right, as they're squeezing their grip, their palm right below their thumb could accidentally hit that release. when it comes to self-defense as an instructor, I don't like that for people because it takes a while for them to be familiar with their guns. And if I'm using it for self-defense, that's not something I want to have to worry about whenever I'm shooting.
Again, it's a flex to carry a Canik TTI Combat as a carry gun, but I don't know of many people that are actually going to do it.
Yeah, that's going to give me the advantage when it comes to the shadow systems. I think also, a lot of police officers shoot with gloves on. I think that this is flat because of that. It's not as pronounced as the.
Wait, what? Most police officers shoot with guns on or shoot with gloves on. What? Is that? I don't know. Out here in South Dakota, I never see cops with gloves on, just walking around talking to people.
Yeah, not right.
I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's a normal thing. Yeah, I mean, like you would see like SWAT guys come out with gloves on, right? But that's because they're going in to do a thing. They're not like beat cops walking around.
No.
Yeah, no. And if you're a SWAT guy, you're probably not going in with a Shadow Systems XR920P.
No,
right? You're going in with a rifle.
Yeah, as the Canik TTI, because again, if somebody's already nervous and they're shooting with and squeezing their hand, the bigger that magazine release is going to be, the easier it's going to be to push. And the last thing you want is to have dead man's gun look really fucking stupid as you get shot. Okay, so as in a self-defense situation, the flatter the magazine release, the better. As a beginner shooter, something with like this play is going to give me time to initiate the squeeze of the trigger and then get on target. When it comes to
so he's talking about prepping the trigger. Now, the reason that take up is there is because there's usually a striker safety in there. There's a little plunger that actually blocks the firing pin from going off. Maybe something like that could be used on, I don't know, a SIG P320 to not have them induce so many accidental discharges into the people wearing them. But yeah, so that's a function of the trigger. That's the way that they're designed. But yeah, some people use it to prep the trigger.
It'll require a properly well-designed pistol, not a haggled together striker version of a 230.
Yeah, just a gun designed to meet a contract that only made it in name only.
Yeah. Self-defense shooting, a lot of people are nervous on their trigger squeeze or are nervous on their presentation, and they might shoot before they have a positive target, acceptable shot or acceptable sight picture. And that wall right there might be too little in a self-defense situation. Again, all of this stuff is fixed by training, getting familiar with your gun. You and your gun have to be best friends, especially if you're going to use it in a self-defense situation. The weight to me doesn't really play a role here. I feel like even though this one's only 22 ounces and this one's 42 ounces.
See, this is where, again, everything is BS because that gun on the right is actually heavier considering that it has a TLR1 up front. And you can't figure out that they're the same weight.
You'd think you'd have caught that sooner. It's like,
why
does this one not feel like it's twice as heavy as this one?
He read a picture of it, or he read the brochure and was like, okay, this one's 42 ounces, this one's 22 ounces, which I'm not even sure that other gun's 22 ounces. That sounds too light to me. But
no, I think he definitely read the picture.
So he's just going with it, right? Even though he can feel that it is not double the weight of the other handgun, he's just going to keep saying it because that's what he was told, rather than being like, something is really off here. That's not correct.
It doesn't play a role because of the way the weight is distributed, right? Because this is a shorter gun and a smaller gun, the center gravity of the weight is kind of like closer to my palm, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, you have a light out front. I don't believe you.
Guys, but I'm basically holding this gun up with my grip here. When it comes to the Canik, most of the weight's in the front because of this compensator, and now it's kind of I'm using the pressure of the bottom part of my palm or even my pinky to maintain the levelness of this pistol, right? So in the shadow systems, it's more of the squeeze of my index finger, maybe my middle finger here is where I'm squeezing when it comes to the shadow systems. For the Canik, it's more on the lower part of my hand because of the way that this is weighted. So honestly, it being 42.
Again, all this is predicated on the idea that he just doesn't have the right numbers in his head.
Ugh.
And I think that's a good enough spot to end the video. It's all nonsense. It's all silliness. Crazy, crazy man. Somebody did want me to pull that up though, so I will actually go to the George Floyd video because somebody did want to see his take on it. Let me see it right here. Open link in new tab.
We're only going to open it if everybody smashes the like button right now.
No, everybody wants to see this right now. Look at the terror in this man's eyes. He is angry right now at the George Floyd incident. And yeah, this is requested. Yeah, give you guys a little treat at the end. Aaron
The
Keener
irony
says,
and tragedy.
yeah, does he think that we don't see the stream lights? Like, yeah, it's there, bro. It's like you can just
can't see
feel
it through the beard.
And the glasses. The glasses are actually blackout glasses, and he's blind. So he's actually shooting by echolocation, which is why he's shooting so slow. He has to shoot the first shot so that he can see, right? Because it gives you the information back, and then he can take the next shot.
He's really Daredevil.
All right.
Show when you have enough facts, the burden of proof, it's kind of like it's there, and then you see a man murdered and that doesn't move you to anger. There's something wrong with you.
Wow, that was really fast right at the beginning. Anyway, so that is in response to the George Floyd incident, which he immediately called a murder straight away. This was on, when was this published? Good sir, June 2nd. Let me find this.
So, like 2 weeks after.
Yeah, just a couple weeks after. Where is it? May 25th. So 7 days. 7 days later. So a week after, immediately calling it a murder and being very, very angry and incensed the whole time, right?
So
very
this was probably recorded a
strange-
couple days earlier then.
A very, very strange, like almost virtue signally type thing. And so it was at this point in time where I was like, I don't need to be subscribed to this anymore. All right. So yeah, at that point 4 years ago, I was like, all right, I'll see you later, buddy. Not that he doesn't provide value, or yeah, somebody else calls it. There's a word for it. You could say. Very funny. All right. J Ford for $4.99 says, I can afford to super chat. I don't take classes at Sheepdog Response. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money you save there, so I appreciate it. J Ford for $1.99 says, Flannel Daddy doesn't glove up. Very true. Grifting Gamer for $2 says, have gloves on a lot for searches and nasty people. Yeah, you would definitely want to have gloves on for that, 100%. I'm just talking about just like walking around, though. And I guess it is different for different areas. Obviously, I live in a very, very rural place. Like my town doesn't even have a police officer. It has like county police officers, right? Because there's only 700 people in my town. So, all right. Does Warrior Poet Society have Jew lore? I don't know. That's probably a question for next time. But Bulge Deep in the Vagina for $4.99 says, bravo, good sir. Thank you very much. And let's stop there. No more.
I think he has Pope lore.
He probably does. Yes, he is Catholic, if I remember correctly. So,
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's Protestant.
Are you sure? I remember listening to a lot of like his philosophy videos because he has like some good videos on his channel that's like really good, mindful and whatnot. But then
I believe
he also
church.
Yes, he also did a trip to Israel. So I do remember that. I do remember that. But anyways, moving on from that, 2.5 hours in, we're going to go ahead and call it there. Logan, thank you very much for coming on and joining us last minute. Any final thoughts before we kick you out forever?
It was painful. Painful with that video.
It had to be done.
Time, though. Had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Had to share the pain with everyone else.
I had to watch it, so I had to make everybody else watch it 5 seconds at a time for 2.5 hours. What about you, Richard? What you got?
Well, I'm glad that that masochist fest is now over. But it was fun. I'm glad everybody showed up. I had a good time. I would ask that everybody now go and subscribe to the Out of Focus Clips channel, because that's another thing I have fun with and enjoy. So
100%. All right, gentlemen. Well, Gifted Gamer for $5 says Chauvin was innocent, and it's the reason a lot of us don't take our jobs seriously anymore, and response times suck. Less liability to show up after. Very true. Very true. Yeah, I think that started a really bad shift in policing in general and led to a lot of really bad things. And so to see people so quickly paraded around as a positive thing, and as some people call it, a moral fagging, let's say, it's kind of disappointing, because it leads to worse and worse things, right? So, but I do appreciate you. Thank you for the $5, sir. And we're going to get out of here. So you all have a wonderful night tonight. I hope that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy. I hope that was very painful for you, as it was very painful for us. But thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. God bless.
Night.
Good night.